Unit 1. Word list.
Accountable.
When accountable, one is responsible for the effects of their actions.
Political leaders are accountable to the people they represent.
Addictive. If something is addictive, it is hard to stop doing.
I think this game is very addictive.
Agenda. An agenda is a plan or goal that guides someone's behavior.
The man is pushing his questionable agenda on his colleagues.
Coin. To coin is to create a new word or phrase that other people begin to use.
The coach coined the phrase, "There is no I in team."
Correlate. To correlate is to have a close connection to something.
Scientists believe that brain size might correlate with intelligence.
Depression. Depression is a medical condition that makes a person very unhappy for long periods of time.
Ron decided to get help for his depression.
Digital. When something is digital, it is characterized by computer technology.
Students prefer to take notes on their laptops and other digital devices.
Importance. Importance is the quality or state of being important, valuable, or significant.
The importance of education cannot be overstated.
Keyboard.
A device with buttons used for inputting characters into a computer.
Paul spilled coffee all over his keyboard.
Loneliness. Loneliness is the unhappiness that is felt by someone if they do not have any friends.
Many people join social clubs to escape loneliness.
Media. Media is the different ways of entertaining and giving information to the public.
Many people like to express their opinions online using social media.
Platform.
A raised surface or structure providing a base for various activities.
The company launched a new social media platform.
Poor. When something is poor, it is not as good as it could or should be.
The condition of the sidewalk is very poor.
Presence. Presence is when someone or something is present in a particular place.
The presence of the CEO made the employees nervous.
Subject.
To subject is to make someone or something suffer or endure something bad.
The company will subject the product to rigorous testing.
Surge. A surge is a sudden large increase in something.
All at once, there was a surge of runners at the finish line.
Survey.
A survey asks many people questions to learn their opinions.
The survey found that most people prefer coffee over tea.
Target. To target is to aim an attack at someone or something.
Scientists are looking for new drugs to target cancer cells.
Trend. A trend is a general tendency in the way a situation is changing or developing.
Lucy likes to think she started this fashion trend.
Validate. To validate is to make someone feel that his or her ideas and feelings are respected.
Winning first prize will validate all of Tony's hard work.
Social media. All around the world, people who have mobile devices are likely to have a presence on social media. However, data reveals a link between social media use and a surge in health issues. Anxiety and depression are two such issues. Research suggests that social media use may be correlated to lower self-control. Lower self-control often causes poor or addictive behavior. Social media has been described to be more addictive than tobacco and alcohol. People may rely on social media as a form of escapism and for mood-modifying effects. These are similar to the reasons people become dependent on addictive substances. Surveys about social media show that a surprising number of teenagers have been subjected to cyberbullying. Cyberbullies can easily remain anonymous. They are accountable to no one, so they use social media to target victims and spread rumors. This has become so common that the term keyboard warrior has been coined. A keyboard warrior's agenda is to write abusive posts while staying hidden. The effects of cyberbullying can be traumatic. There are other negative effects of social media's popularity. People sometimes use social networking platforms to show their best selves. A recent social media trend is to upload and broadcast video clips to share a piece of one's life. However, instead of feeling accepted and validated, people end up comparing their lives with other people. This trap of comparing lives may lead to symptoms of depression. Social media use has also been linked to feelings of social isolation. The more people use social media, the more they realize that their digital friends may not actually be real friends. This feeling of isolation may cause a person to experience extreme loneliness. We see social media used in the personal and professional lives of those around us. It's apparent that it's here to stay. Therefore, it's necessary to consider the importance of educating people on how to use social media effectively and safely. Unit 2. Word list.
Carbon. Carbon is a chemical element.
Carbon is found in coal.
Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a gas made from one carbon atom and two oxygen atoms.
There is carbon dioxide in the smoke from coal power plants.
Dust. Dust is very small, dry particles of earth or sand.
Some wear masks to avoid inhaling dust and germs.
Emit. To emit is to send out gas, heat, light, sound, etc.
This iron emits steam.
Enable. To enable is to make it possible for something to happen.
Studying hard will enable the girl to get a good job.
Grind. To grind is to break something into small pieces or powder.
We grind wheat to make flour.
Heal. To heal is to become healthy or well again.
This ointment will help heal your wounds.
Integrate. To integrate is to make something a part of another larger thing.
More women are being integrated into the military.
Leading. When something is leading, it is the most advanced or best.
Teresa is the leading expert on brain surgery for dogs.
Moreover.
Moreover adds supporting information to previous statements.
The car was expensive. Moreover, it was not very fuel efficient.
Object. To object is to feel or say that you oppose or disapprove of something.
The students object to raising the tuition.
Pollutant. A pollutant is a substance that makes the air or water not safe for use.
A pollutant in the water killed this fish.
Powder. Powder is a dry substance in the form of very small grains.
Turmeric is a yellow powder used in cooking.
Prompt. To prompt is to cause someone to do something.
The tight deadline will prompt the employee to work very hard.
Reject. To reject is to refuse to accept, believe in, or agree with something.
I'm afraid the teacher will reject my new idea.
Skeptic.
A person who doubts or questions the validity of something.
Kevin is a skeptic because he never believes anyone or anything.
Substance. A substance is a particular type of solid, liquid, or gas.
Arsenic is a poisonous substance.
Substantially. If something changes substantially, it changes a lot.
The price of the apartment went up substantially.
Ton. A ton is a unit for measuring weight equal to 2,000 pounds or 907.2 kilograms.
This dump truck can carry up to 25 tons.
Transport.
The way to move people or things from one place to another.
Cargo ships are used for the transport of manufactured goods.
Enhanced weathering. Air pollution is not only a contributor to global warming, but also to poor air quality. It can have negative effects on human health. Carbon dioxide is the leading pollutant, with billions of metric tons emitted annually by the burning of fossil fuels. Burning less fossil fuels is the obvious way to reduce carbon dioxide. Unfortunately, a tremendous number of people rely on fossil fuels for heating, electricity, and transport. This has prompted scientists to look for different approaches to reducing carbon dioxide. Weathering is when chemical compounds in the atmosphere react with chemical compounds on the planet's surface. The weathering of rocks refers to the chemical breakdown of rocks. This occurs when rain, which contains carbon from the atmosphere, comes in contact with rocks. The carbon is captured and embedded in the rocks. This is a natural process and can substantially remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. However, this process is extremely slow. Scientists have been studying ways to integrate this process. They have discovered a technique to speed up weathering. They call this enhanced weathering. Certain types of rock, such as olivine, are crushed into a fine powder. The powder is spread over a large land surface to be rained on. This process decreases the time of natural weathering by maximizing the rock's exposure to carbon. There are skeptics, however. Some people are uncertain about the effects of enhanced weathering. Some even object to this approach. Rocks such as olivine may contain toxic substances that can contribute to polluting the planet. Also, grinding rocks produces dust. The dust can be harmful to human health. Moreover, the process of crushing and transporting rock may cause additional carbon emissions. Although more data needs to be collected, scientists have not completely rejected enhanced weathering. They are hopeful that it will enable the safe removal of atmospheric carbon dioxide. Scientists are working together to help improve air quality, combat global warming, and heal our planet.
Unit 3. Word list.
Align. To align is to support a political group, country, or person that you agree with.
The crowd seemed to align themselves with the protesters.
Authority.
An authority has power to decide and enforce rules and laws.
The government has the authority to enforce laws and regulations.
Barn. A barn is a large farm building that houses crops, equipment, and animals.
My grandparents keep hay in their red barn.
Betray. To betray is to be disloyal to someone who trusts you.
The four friends would never betray each other's trust.
Bible. The Bible is the book of sacred writing in the Christian religion.
I read the Bible every night before I go to sleep.
Catholic. A Catholic thing or person is one that is connected with the Roman Catholic Church.
Roseanne is Catholic, so she goes to church every Sunday.
Cooperate. To cooperate is to work with someone to achieve something that you both want.
The team agreed to cooperate to finish the project.
Detain. To detain is to officially prevent someone from leaving a place.
The police had to detain the thief for shoplifting.
Exit. An exit is something that is used as a way to get out of a place.
The green sign shows where the exit is located.
Exceptional. An exceptional thing or person is one that is outstanding.
Holly is an exceptional student.
Flee. To flee is to leave somewhere very quickly in order to escape from danger.
When a predator approaches a deer, the deer will flee.
Network.
A network is a connected group of people or organizations.
Leslie is part of a volunteer network that plants trees in the city.
Outrage. To outrage is to make someone feel very angry or shocked.
He was outraged when his proposal was turned down.
Parish. A parish is the area for which a priest in some Christian churches is responsible.
Greg's parish has grown over the past year.
Passage. A passage is a narrow space that people can move through.
Follow the passage down the stairs.
Pastor. A pastor is a minister in charge of a parish or church.
The pastor speaks to the members of the church.
Patrol.
Patrols use people or vehicles to check for danger in an area.
The military patrol is responsible for keeping the area safe.
Raid. To raid is to attack a place in a short time in order to cause damage.
The police raided the drug den and arrested several suspects.
Rail. A rail is a system of tracks on which trains travel.
I like rail travel as it's more convenient than driving in traffic.
Tunnel. A tunnel is an underground passage for cars, trains, etc. to go through.
The tunnel will lead you to the next city.
Chambon-sur-Lignon. During World War II, thousands of foreign-born and French Jews had to flee from the Nazis, who were capturing them and taking them to the death camps. A small number of individuals throughout Europe were involved in saving the Jews, but in Les Chambon-sur-Lignon, a small remote village in south-central France, the entire community joined in the rescue efforts. Most of the villagers of Les Chambon-sur-Lignon were descendants of the Huguenots. The Huguenots were Protestants who once endured persecution in Catholic France. They never wanted to forget their own history. A pastor named André Trocmé saw the Jews as the Bible's people. He began hiding them. Hundreds of families aligned themselves with his parish and agreed to help. The residents cooperated in several ways. They risked their lives by hiding the Jews from Nazi patrols. They offered shelter in their own homes, barns, and public buildings, such as orphanages and schools. They forged identification papers to enable Jews to escape. They guided a number of refugees across the border by rail and on foot. The refugees had to travel through underground tunnels and mountain passages to the safety of Switzerland, which was a neutral country during the war. The village received support from people in other places as well. There was an extensive underground network of individuals throughout the region who helped along the way. Even when the Germans were outraged and raided the village and detained people thought to be helping the Jews, the villagers defied authorities. They did not betray each other either. They continued to protect the refugee and by doing so were able to continue to provide an exit to safety. The inhabitants provided refuge for an estimated 3,000 to 5,000 Jews. Today, the village of Les Chambon-sur-Lignon is seen as an exceptional example of a collective rescue effort during a truly dark time.
Unit 4. Word list. Comfortable. When something is comfortable, it makes you feel relaxed, confident, and not worried.
Will loves his comfortable new sofa.
Education. Education is the process of teaching and learning, usually at a school, college, or university.
These students are receiving their education at a private school.
Encouragement. Encouragement is something that makes someone more determined, hopeful, or confident.
The mother gives constant encouragement to her son.
Endorse. To endorse is to express formal support or approval for someone or something.
The committee will endorse their leader for the upcoming election.
Equal. When something is equal, it is the same in size, number, amount, or value as something else.
The apple and orange are equal in weight.
Face. To face is to deal with something in a direct way.
Justin will face many challenges at work.
Field.
A field is a subject or work area people study or engage in.
Jane works in the healthcare field.
Foster. To foster is to help a skill, feeling, or idea develop over a period of time.
The teacher fostered a love of reading in her students.
Guidance.
Guidance is advice given for work, education, or personal life.
Ms. Smith provided valuable guidance to all her students.
Hold. To hold is to have a particular degree, title, record, job, or position.
Damien will soon hold a degree in business administration.
Inclusion. Inclusion is the act of including someone or something in a larger group or set.
The inclusion of women in leadership is necessary.
Inspire.
To inspire is to boost confidence and ignite eagerness in others.
The breathtaking view inspired the artist to paint.
Mere. Mere is used to emphasize how small or unimportant something or someone is.
Scott lost the race by a mere 2 seconds.
Position. A position is a rank or role of someone in an organization or company.
Kyle is interviewing for a marketing position.
Power. Power is the ability to influence people or give them strong feelings.
She has a lot of social power due to her wealthy family.
Responsibility. Responsibility is a task or duty that you are expected or required to do.
Parents have the responsibility to raise their children with love.
Soar. To soar is to increase quickly to a high level.
The temperature today will soar to a high of 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
Tool. A tool is a piece of equipment or a skill that is useful for doing your job.
Presentation skills are an important tool for communication.
Vocal. When someone is vocal, he or she expresses a strong opinion publicly.
Sean gets vocal when someone disagrees with his opinions.
Workplace. A workplace is the room or building where you work.
Diversity is important in the workplace.
Women in tech. The digital economy is soaring. There are over 7 million jobs in the computer science and technology industries in the United States alone. Yet, there is still a major gender gap when it comes to women in tech. These women face many challenges, as seen in a quit rate of 41%. So, what can be done to close this gender gap? How can we ensure fair pay and equal opportunities? First, women need to be inspired and motivated to enter the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM, as well as computer science. According to statistics, 74% of young women express interest in STEM subjects and computer science. However, women hold only 18% of undergraduate computer science degrees and 26% of tech jobs. Early education must convey technology as a tool that can be applied to real life to solve problems. Many young women are put off because they view the technology sector to be too male-dominated. Women lack prominent roles, holding only a mere 5% of tech leadership positions. Therefore, women who are already in tech positions must act as mentors and endorse other women in these fields. They can play a huge role for young women by giving them encouragement, support, and guidance. These women can help attract and retain more women and therefore create a level playing field. However, it is not just the women in tech who must be vocal. Men working in the tech industry have a responsibility to listen to women and foster a comfortable work culture. The leaders in the industry have the power to create new opportunities and promote the inclusion of women to close this gender gap. There must be a systematic approach from schools to workplaces, including the motivation of young women to study STEM and computer science. Women must provide support and mentorship, and men must listen to and encourage women. If we continue to empower women in the tech sector, it will be good for everyone.
Unit 5. Word list.
Academic. When something is academic, it relates to schools and education.
Alex received an award for his academic achievements.
Acceptance.
Acceptance is agreeing that an idea or statement is true.
Mr. Song celebrated his acceptance into the political party.
Array. An array is a large group or number of things.
The toy cars are available in an array of colors.
Blur. To blur is to make something unclear or difficult to see or remember.
The photographer can blur the bright lights into the background.
Cafe. A cafe is a small restaurant where you can buy drinks and simple meals.
Monica works part-time at a cafe.
Canvas. A canvas is a thick piece of cloth that artists use to paint on.
The artist paints bright colors on a canvas.
Cinema. A cinema is a building in which films are shown.
My sister enjoys watching movies at the cinema.
Class.
Class divides people into social and economic groups.
This upper-class family travels on a private jet.
Distinctive.
Distinctive means unique and recognizable.
Olives have a distinctive flavor.
Key. When something is key, it is extremely important.
Marco is a key player on the country's national team.
Movement.
A movement is organized actions towards a shared goal.
Booker T. Washington was a member of the Civil Rights Movement.
Practice. A practice is something that is done often or regularly.
Samuel has made it a practice to read the newspaper every morning.
Realistic. When something is realistic, it is shown as it is in real life.
Dorothy is painting realistic images of fish.
Reflection. A reflection is an image that is seen in a mirror or other shiny surface.
The man stared at his reflection in the mirror.
Rule.
A rule is an official instruction for doing things or allowing them.
Wearing a helmet while riding a bicycle is a rule in some cities.
Stroke. A stroke is a single movement of a pen or brush when you are writing or painting.
The artist began with a yellow stroke on his painting.
Sunlight. Sunlight is the natural light that comes from the sun.
The sunlight shines through the trees.
Traditional. When something is traditional, it is based on old-fashioned ideas.
I prefer traditional furniture.
Unlike.
Unlike means completely different from.
Unlike his older brother, Jim is short.
Width. Width is the distance from one side of something to the other side.
The man is measuring the width of the box.
Impressionism. Impressionism is a movement that began in France in the late 19th century. It is considered to be the first modern art movement, as it was seen as a departure from other art. This is because it violated the established rules of academic painting. Unlike realistic academic paintings, Impressionist paintings are characterized by the depiction of light on objects. The artists aim to capture the light rather than the details in order to show an impression of time. This distinctive quality is achieved by using two key techniques. The first is a technique called impasto. Impasto is an Italian word that means mixture. In painting, impasto describes short, thick strokes. This technique allows the artist to control the reflection and movement of light on the canvas. The artist can modify the width and direction of the paint strokes to convey texture and give the painting a three-dimensional quality. Also, the speed and strength of the strokes can convey the artist's perception of the subject. The second technique is optical mixing. This involves the use of broken colors. In other words, instead of the traditional practice of mixing an array of colors on a palette, artists paint different colors side by side. Doing this adds texture and plays on light, and it creates the illusion of different colors. Another difference between Impressionist paintings and traditional paintings is the subject matter. During that time period, the accepted subjects were historical or literary themes. They were often based on religious or mythological subjects. Impressionists, on the other hand, preferred landscapes and contemporary life. They often painted outdoors, using the sunlight to depict a brighter style. Even though photography was starting to become popular, Impressionists avoided representing reality. They demonstrated their individualism by playing with color and blurring the line between the subject and the background. In the mid-19th century, the middle class in Paris saw rapid growth. The city saw an increase in cafes, cinemas, parks, and boutiques. Impressionists captured the daily lives of the middle class, which appealed to the wider public, and eventually led to the acceptance of Impressionism into the art world.
Unit 6. Word list. Anthem. An anthem is a formal or religious song.
Everyone sings the national anthem before the baseball game starts.
Beyond. Beyond is used to say that one thing is more than another.
The job is beyond the man's ability.
Determination.
Determination is not giving up when things get tough.
Chris is the youngest competitor, but he has the most determination.
Fighting. Fighting is physical conflict between people or groups in a war, in the street, etc.
Heavy fighting continued for days.
Joint.
When something is joint, it involves multiple people or groups.
Mike and Joanna are joint owners of a coffee shop.
Landing.
The act of coming down or arriving on the ground or a surface.
The man is in charge of leading the landing in the war zone.
Mark. To mark is to celebrate an important event or time by doing something.
My grandparents are having a party to mark their 50th anniversary.
Mobilize. To mobilize is to prepare an army to fight in a war.
Thousands of soldiers were ready to mobilize for the fight.
Nation. A nation is a large area of land that is controlled by its own government.
India is a nation that is developing rapidly.
Originally.
Replaces in the beginning or at first.
This building was originally a bank.
Outbreak. An outbreak is a sudden start or increase of fighting or disease.
The scientists prepared for an outbreak of a dangerous virus.
Pray. To pray is to speak to God in order to ask for help or to give thanks.
The girl likes to pray for world peace.
Prisoner. A prisoner is someone who is taken by force and kept somewhere.
He has been a prisoner for many years.
Sacrifice.
To sacrifice is to give up for gain or others.
Karen has had to sacrifice a lot for her children.
Silence. Silence is the complete absence of sound or noise.
I can only sleep in complete silence.
Thus.
Thus is used in place of in this way or so.
Victor wants to lose weight. Thus, he'll go on a diet and start exercising.
Tribute.
A tribute is a way to show respect through words, actions, or gifts.
In some countries, people wear poppies as a tribute to veterans.
Victory. A victory is a situation in which you win a battle, game, election, or dispute.
The man was thrilled with his victory.
Wild. To be wild is to be without control.
Dandelions grow wild in the cracks of the streets.
Wound. To wound is to injure someone or something by cutting or breaking the skin.
Her words left a deep wound in his heart.
Anzac Day. April 25th is Anzac Day, Australia's National Day of Commemoration. It is a day to remember the Australian soldiers who served and sacrificed their lives for their country. Anzac Day marks the anniversary of when the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, Anzac, mobilized and landed on Turkey's Gallipoli Peninsula. It was just 9 months after the outbreak of World War I. The objective of this joint mission was for the troops to capture what is now present-day Istanbul. At the time, Istanbul was the capital of the Ottoman Empire and an ally of Germany. The campaign involved fierce fighting for months and ended without victory at the end of 1915. Over 8,000 Australian soldiers lost their lives. By the end of the war, 60,000 were killed and over 150,000 were wounded or taken prisoner. Thus, April 25th became a day of remembrance. However, Anzac Day now goes beyond the day of the Gallipoli landing. Now, it is a day to pay tribute to all Australians who served and died in any military operation. Every year, on April 25th at 5:30 a.m., formal commemorative services are held across the nation. This is usually referred to as the dawn service. The service includes praying, laying wreaths of red poppies, observing a period of silence, and singing the national anthem. During the day, former servicemen and women march through major cities. People wear sprigs of rosemary on their coats to symbolize remembering and remembrance. Rosemary has particular significance because it grows wild across the Gallipoli Peninsula. Anzac Day was originally set to commemorate the anniversary of the landing in Gallipoli, but it is now a day to celebrate the courage, determination, and perseverance of the Australians, who served and died in all wars and peacekeeping operations. Anzac Day is also a day of unity, as people share their sorrow for the many lives lost in wars.
Unit 7. Word list.
Assimilate. To assimilate is to adopt the ways of a new culture and fully become a part of it.
The immigrants worked hard to assimilate into the local culture.
Attempt. An attempt is an act of trying to do something, especially something difficult.
This is Ben's second attempt to climb Mount Everest.
Case. A case is an example of a particular situation or of something happening.
A deposit of $1,000 is required, but in this case, we will accept half.
Cease. To cease is to stop doing something, or to stop something happening.
The rain will cease in the afternoon.
Danger.
Danger is the risk of harm, destruction, or death.
Smoking cigarettes is a danger to health.
Devastating.
Something devastating causes significant harm or damage.
The tsunami had devastating effects on the seaside village.
Diversity. Diversity is the quality or state of having many different forms, types, ideas, etc.
The team celebrated the diversity of its members' backgrounds.
Earthquake.
An earthquake shakes the earth, causing extensive damage.
The earthquake caused the road to crack in multiple places.
Endangered.
Endangered things are rare and could vanish completely.
The whooping crane is an endangered species.
Extinction.
Extinction is the end of something's existence.
The extinction of the dodo bird occurred in the 1600s.
Forever. We use forever in place of for all future time or for a very long time.
Michelle and Tanya want to be best friends forever.
Generally. We use generally in place of in most cases or to most people.
The suburbs are generally viewed as a good place to raise children.
Genocide. Genocide is the deliberate murder of a whole group or race of people.
As a result of the genocide, many children have been orphaned.
Hit. To hit is to affect someone or something in a harmful or dangerous way.
The ship was hit by a violent storm.
Lose. To lose is to have something that is important or necessary taken from you or destroyed.
The family never thought they'd lose everything to fire.
Native. If something is native, it refers to the place someone was born and raised.
Carlos is a hero in his native country of Brazil.
Percent. A percent is an amount that is equal to 1/100th of something.
Liz needs to get 80% on her test to pass the course.
Reason.
A reason explains why something or someone behaves that way.
The reason Eric is late for work is that he forgot to set his alarm.
Reference. A reference is the act of referring to something or someone.
My supervisor made a reference to the data I'd collected.
Urban. If something is urban, it is related to towns and cities.
It is common to see tall buildings in urban areas.
Endangered languages. Most people know about endangered plants and animals. However, not everyone is aware of the extent to which many languages are in danger of extinction. Currently, there are almost 500 languages that are officially endangered. According to statistics, 95% of the world's population only speak 6% of the existing 7,000 languages. This means that only 6% speak all the other languages. Some languages have fewer than a dozen speakers. There are several reasons why languages become extinct. A key reason is the influence of the dominant languages. Generally, dominant languages are associated with higher social status and education. People who move to urban areas are forced to learn the dominant language. In most cases, the children do not learn their native language. In addition, many rural communities give up their linguistic heritage in an attempt to assimilate into mainstream culture. For example, India has lost 220 of 780 languages in the last 50 years. Once Hindi was recognized as the official language of India, the number of Hindi speakers increased from 260 million to over 420 million. Another reason languages may cease to exist is that the people who speak an endangered language may be in physical danger, such as from war or genocide. Many languages of the indigenous people in the Americas are either extinct or endangered for this very reason. Natural disasters and disease can also wipe out entire populations. When the people in a village of Papua New Guinea were hit by a devastating earthquake, all were wiped out. The language they spoke, Malol, was wiped out with them. Languages represent cultures and show diversity. Losing a language equates to losing all cultural references expressed through linguistic means. The broader global community suffers because of the diminishing cultural and linguistic diversity. Therefore, efforts need to be made to preserve and revive endangered languages before they disappear forever.
Unit 8. Word list. Burn. To burn is to use something as a source of energy.
Running burns fat and aids weight loss.
Check. To check is to ask someone whether something is correct, true, or allowed.
The teacher will check our homework tomorrow.
Coconut. A coconut is a large brown fruit that has a hard shell and white flesh.
A coconut produces a healthy oil.
Epilepsy.
Epilepsy is a neurological disorder that causes recurring seizures.
The doctor diagnosed the patient with epilepsy.
Fat. Fat is an oily solid or liquid substance in food.
The fat contained in salmon, avocados, and nuts is healthy.
Gain. To gain is to gradually get more and more of a quality, feeling, etc.
Winning the award will help Stephen gain confidence.
Glucose. Glucose is a natural form of sugar that exists in plants and fruit.
People with diabetes need to check their glucose levels.
High. When something is high, it is greater than usual in amount, number, or degree.
The thermometer shows a high body temperature.
Keep. To keep is to stay in a particular state, condition, or position.
Brian needs to keep working in order to finish his project on time.
Known. If something is known, it is something that people are aware of or have discovered.
Bob is known throughout the neighborhood as a burglar.
Liver. The liver is a large organ in the body that produces bile and cleans blood.
The professor showed us what the human liver looks like.
Low. If something is low, it is smaller than usual in amount, number, or degree.
The temperature gets very low in the winter.
Management. Management is the act or process of controlling and dealing with something.
Practicing yoga is good for stress management.
Metabolic.
Using food and water to produce energy through chemical processes.
Fish have a very high metabolic rate.
Oil.
A thick liquid derived from plants or animals, mainly used in cooking.
The chef put the oil in the pan and heated it up.
Olive. An olive is a small, egg-shaped, black or green fruit.
I prepared a bowl of olives for my guests.
Performance. Performance is how well someone or something functions, works, etc.
Liam's performance in the race was not his best.
Powerful. If something is powerful, it has a strong effect.
This perfume has a powerful scent.
Starch.
Starch fuels your body and is found in wheat, potatoes, and rice.
Pasta is high in starch.
Summary.
A summary is a brief statement with key information about something.
Cindy concluded the meeting with a summary of the project.
The Ketogenic Diet. Many diets come and go. One diet that has gained a significant following is the Ketogenic Diet. This diet is a low-carbohydrate, moderate-protein, high-fat diet. Many swear by it, claiming that it has improved their overall health. Known health benefits are weight loss, diabetes management, increased mental focus and energy, and epilepsy control. An average person's main energy source is glucose. When food that is high in carbohydrates is consumed, the body produces glucose. Since glucose is used for energy, fats are not needed and are therefore stored. By lowering the intake of carbohydrates and increasing fat intake, the body goes into a metabolic state known as ketosis. This is when the liver breaks down fats and produces ketones, which then become the main energy source. The body then becomes extremely efficient at burning fat for energy. Therefore, the goal of a ketogenic diet is to keep your body in this state. In a ketogenic diet, carbs are strictly limited and should come from vegetables, nuts, and dairy. Refined carbs, such as wheat, starch, and fruit, are not allowed. This means pasta, bread, potatoes, and beans, as well as all fruit, are to be avoided. The majority of meals should include meat, fatty fish, eggs, leafy greens, dairy, and healthy oils, such as olive oil, coconut oil, and avocado. A ketogenic diet has a lot of positive benefit. However, there are side effects. Some include cramping, constipation, heart palpitations, and reduced physical performance. As a precaution, you should always check with your doctor before you start any form of dieting. In summary, eating more fat, a moderate amount of protein, and few carbohydrates will put your body into ketosis. Your body will use up the fat as energy. This diet can be a powerful tool for good health and weight loss.
Unit 9. Word list.
Analytic. If something is analytic, it is related to logic and reasoning.
The analytic article criticized the new plan and presented one of its own.
Area. An area is a reasonably large place.
He was very familiar with the local area.
Bachelor. A bachelor is an unmarried man.
Since he was a bachelor, Jason did his shopping by himself.
Cognitive. If something is cognitive, it is related to learning and knowing things.
After her physical examination, her cognitive skills were tested.
Collision. A collision is the act of two things hitting into each other.
The collision between the two cars created a loud noise.
Competent. If someone is competent, they are able to think or act successfully.
Competent employees are much better than unknowledgeable ones.
Diploma. A diploma is a certificate proving that someone has completed their studies.
After 4 years of college, Mary finally had a diploma.
Excel. To excel at a subject or activity means to be very good at it.
Jenny excels at playing the piano.
Geology. Geology is the study of the Earth's natural structures and how they change.
Geology studies Earth's rocks, minerals, and land formations.
Integral. Something that is integral is an important part of the whole.
She is an integral member of our team.
Intellect. An intellect is a person's ability to understand things easily.
She was known for her quick and strong intellect as well as her beauty.
Job. Your job is the work you do to earn money.
He now has a high-paying job.
Keen. If someone is keen, they are intelligent.
Only a keen student could have solved that math problem.
Minimum. The minimum is the smallest amount.
What is the minimum temperature in winter in this area?
Psychology.
Psychology studies how the brain influences our thoughts and actions.
The psychology of seeing is a fascinating subject.
Radioactive. If something is radioactive, then it lets out or is related to radiation.
Radioactive states can be very bad for anyone's health.
Relativity. Relativity is a set of ideas about time and space developed by Albert Einstein.
Time dilation is a key concept in the theory of relativity.
Sociology. Sociology is the study of human society, its organizations, and problems.
Sociology teaches that people's problems are a result of their society.
Theoretical. If something is theoretical, it is based on theory rather than experience.
His conclusion was only theoretical and not meant to be publicized.
Weak. If someone is weak, they are not strong and healthy.
She is still weak after the illness.
The Bachelor's Lesson. A keen young bachelor had finished his studies at the university. He had completed his studies in the minimum time and was about to start looking for a job. As soon as he had received his diploma, he thought that he was the smartest person in town. "I excel at everything I study," he said, bragging about his knowledge. "I've mastered psychology. I even understand the great theoretical teachings of science, such as relativity. There is nothing that I don't know. Whether it's the movements of celestial objects like planets and stars, or how to use the power of radioactive substances, I know everything. But actually, there was something the Bachelor did not know. Although his analytic abilities were great, he failed to notice he was missing something very important in his life. One day, while walking through town, the Bachelor witnessed a collision between two cars. Both drivers appeared to be injured, but the scholar only stood and watched. He thought to himself, "Those idiots should have been more alert. They really must not be very competent." He never thought the drivers needed help. "Please, help me," said the female driver in a weak voice. "Help me too," said the male driver. "I'm hurt and can't move." Suddenly the Bachelor realized he was the only person in the area near the accident. He quit thinking and ran to help the drivers using his medical knowledge. He carefully helped them out of their vehicles and then called an ambulance. The drivers were saved, and furthermore, the Bachelor felt the best he had in his entire life. Studying sociology and geology didn't give him this wonderful feeling. It was the act of helping others, not his cognitive skills, that gave him this great feeling. He had learned an important lesson. He learned that intellect isn't everything. Being helpful is just as important. Having only a brain is not enough, he thought. An integral part of being alive is also having a heart.
Unit 10. Word list. Administrator. An administrator is a person who controls a business, company, or organization.
The network administrator ensures data security and system integrity.
Affluent. If someone is affluent, they are wealthy.
People in the city are usually more affluent than people in the country.
Audit. To audit means to inspect financial records from a person or business.
The government decided to audit the tax returns of certain individuals.
Automate. To automate something means to have machines or computers do the work.
When the bank automated, it started installing ATM machines.
Bribe. To bribe someone means to illegally persuade them for a favor with money.
The judge was bribed so that she would set the suspect free.
Corrupt. If someone is corrupt, they break the law for money or fame.
The corrupt policemen didn't arrest the man because he gave them money.
Dispose. To dispose of something means to get rid of it.
He disposed of the can by throwing it into the recycle bin.
Headquarters. A headquarters is a building where the bosses of a company work.
He took the long route to the headquarters because it was a nice day.
Incentive. An incentive is what makes a person want to do something.
The promise of a vacation is a great incentive for hard work.
Infrastructure. An infrastructure is a collection of services needed to run a society or business.
Power lines are important parts of a city's infrastructure.
Legislate. To legislate means to make laws.
Senators have to legislate fairly, so most people will enjoy the benefits.
Legitimate. If something is legitimate, then it is acceptable according to the law.
She found a legitimate plan to raise extra funds for her vacation.
Manipulate. To manipulate something means to skillfully or unfairly control or affect it.
He tried to manipulate the situation to his advantage.
Merchandise. Merchandise is goods ready to be purchased or sold.
The store added more merchandise because there were more shoppers.
Retail. Retail is the activity of selling goods to the public, often for personal use.
The retail store offers a wide variety of clothing options.
Revenue. Revenue is the income made by a company.
The new products really increased the business's monthly revenue.
Rubbish. Rubbish is trash or waste.
The floor around the garbage can was covered with all kinds of rubbish.
Subsidy. A subsidy is money given by the government to companies to assist them.
Farmers receive subsidies to offset the costs of crop production.
Transaction. A transaction is an act of buying or selling something.
The new clerk made the simple transaction slow.
Violate. To violate a law, rule, or agreement means to break it.
I was given a ticket because the policeman said I violated a traffic law.
The corrupt administrator. Mr. Watson is an administrator at a big factory that made different kinds of merchandise. During a meeting at the company's headquarters, his bosses said they wanted the factory to make more money. If the factory makes more money, then you will too, his boss, Mr. Johnson, told him. It was a great incentive. Mr. Watson had always wanted to be as affluent as his bosses. Mr. Watson returned to the factory and started making changes. However, most of his changes were not very nice, and some were not legitimate. First, he fired all his employees. Then, he automated the entire factory. Machines now made everything, and his employees had no jobs. Next, he bribed some corrupt senators into legislating special subsidies for the factory. Finally, instead of paying a company to dispose of the factory's rubbish properly, he violated the law by throwing it into the river to save money. At first, all the changes to the factory's infrastructure created more revenue, but soon, many stores could no longer sell the factory's goods at retail. It seemed that the machines couldn't make products as well as the workers. The customers were disappointed with the factory's merchandise. There were other problems too. The workers had told their friends and family to stop buying the factory's goods. Officials discovered the factory's rubbish in the river, and when they audited the company, they discovered that Mr. Watson had manipulated the law in order to get more money. All transactions with Mr. Watson's factory stopped. The factory lost money, and Mr. Watson lost his job. He realized his mistakes too late. He had tried to become rich by saving money any way possible, but the cheapest way is not always the best.
Unit 11. Word list.
Assess. To assess something means to judge the structure, purpose, or quality of it.
She assessed the condition of the toy car before buying it.
Astonish. To astonish someone means to greatly surprise them.
The number of people that came to her party astonished her.
Commence. To commence something means to begin it.
Let's commence the meeting with a brief introduction of everyone.
Essence. The essence of something is its important qualities or basic characteristics.
The essence of the story lies in its moral message.
Extract. To extract something means to remove it.
The dentist extracted a damaged tooth and inserted a fake replacement.
Fabulous. If something is fabulous, it is extremely good.
This strawberry is the best I've ever had. It's fabulous.
Haste. Haste is speed in movement or action.
In order to get to the meeting in time, he proceeded with haste.
Impulse. An impulse is a sudden, thoughtless urge to do something.
Acting on impulse, she booked a spontaneous trip to Paris.
Inhibit. When you inhibit something, you stop it from developing.
Poor reading skills will inhibit learning in a wide range of subject areas.
Ladder. Ladder describes something last in a series, or the second choice of two things.
In the race, John finished first, while Peter came latter.
Molecule. A molecule is the smallest basic unit that makes up a physical substance.
A tiny drop of water is made up of many billions of molecules of water.
Ongoing. If something is ongoing, then it is still happening, or still growing.
The project requires ongoing support from the team.
Precise. If someone is precise, then they are exact and careful about their work.
The builder was very precise about where he placed the nails.
Proximity. Proximity is closeness in time, space, or relationships.
All the trees in the proximity of the beach had been cut down.
Publicity. Publicity is public attention given to someone or something by the media.
She received a lot of publicity after her performance in the film.
Remedy. A remedy is a cure for a disease, argument, or problem.
A good remedy for a headache is an aspirin and a glass of water.
Significance. The significance of something is the quality that makes it important.
The significance of the painting lies in its subtle symbolism.
Subsequent. If something is subsequent, then it comes after something else in time.
The subsequent chapters provide further explanation and examples.
Synthetic. If something is synthetic, then it is made to be like something natural.
She wore a synthetic wig to change her hairstyle.
Terminal. If something is terminal, then it causes or results in death.
Since his condition was not terminal, he felt a great sense of relief.
A famous accident. One of the greatest medical discoveries happened by accident. In his haste to go on vacation, Alexander Fleming had left his laboratory in a mess. The essence of his ongoing work involved a type of bacteria. An infection caused by the bacteria was often terminal, and he was looking for a remedy. He had left the bacteria out while he was away. When he returned from vacation, he found that his lab was covered in fungus. He started cleaning up the mess. While he was cleaning, he had an impulse to examine the fungus. He saw that whenever the fungus was in close proximity to the bacteria died. Although he was a messy scientist, his experiments were precise. He thought that there might be some significance to the fungus. He immediately commenced an experiment to assess what had happened to the bacteria. It had either died by accident or the fungus had killed it. The subsequent tests proved it was the latter reason. What he found astonished him. The fungus actually inhibited the growth of the bad bacteria. All this time, he had been looking for a synthetic material to kill the bacteria. Instead, a common fungus did the job. He knew that something in the fungus had killed the bacteria. His next step was to find those molecules that had done it. When he found them, He extracted them and put them into a pill. The drug proved to be very effective. It also worked against other types of harmful bacteria. The discovery received a lot of publicity. Soon after, the new drug was being used all over the world. Because of the success, the scientist was able to develop even more fabulous drugs to help people. His accidental discovery changed the world and helped save many people's lives.
Unit 12. Word list. Acute. When a bad thing is acute, it is very severe and intense.
When she fell out of the tree, the girl felt an acute pain in her arm.
Aggression. Aggression is behavior that is mean or violent to others.
The problem was only made worse by Mark's aggression.
Biography. A biography is an account of someone's life that is written by someone else.
We read a biography about Charles Darwin in science class.
Boost. To boost something means to increase or improve it.
Lowering prices boosts customers' interest in shopping.
Clap. To clap means to hit one's hands together to express pleasure or get attention.
He clapped his hands in delight upon hearing the good news.
Classical. Classical music is more formal and serious than popular music.
Beethoven is a composer of classical music.
Compel. To compel someone to do something means to force them to do it.
Traffic signs compel drivers to drive safely.
Creation. A creation is something original that is made.
We saw the creation of a new political party.
Dominance.
Dominance is being more powerful than others.
Large gorillas hit their chests to express their dominance over others.
Gorgeous. When something is gorgeous, it is very pleasing and attractive.
The girl picked out a gorgeous dress to wear to the dance.
Inevitable. When something is inevitable, it is certain to happen or cannot be avoided.
It is inevitable that the days will get longer in the summer.
Legacy. A legacy is an effect that exists because of a person or thing in the past.
The legacy of the ancient Egyptians can be seen in their monuments.
Masterpiece. A masterpiece is a very good painting, novel, movie, or other work of art.
The chef's culinary creation was a true masterpiece of flavors.
Multiple. If there are multiple things, there are many of them.
When the stunt went wrong, the man suffered multiple injuries.
Narrate. To narrate a story means to write about it or read it aloud.
This story was written by John, but Aaron is narrating it to the crowd.
Notorious. When something is notorious, it is well known because of something bad.
This area of town is notorious for gang activity.
Overall. When a thing is talked about overall, the whole thing is considered.
Overall, the party was a huge success.
Partiality. A partiality is a tendency to prefer one thing to another.
She has a partiality for walking to school instead of driving.
Spontaneous. When an act is spontaneous, it is not planned. It happens suddenly.
She gave a spontaneous speech that captivated the audience.
Virtue. A virtue is a good quality or way of behaving.
My best virtue is forgiveness.
Beethoven's gift. Beethoven was a great composer of classical music in the 1800s. Many biographies have been written that narrate his dominance in the music world. But do you know what really makes him special? Even though millions of people got to hear his multiple masterpieces, he never did. Beethoven wrote his best pieces after he had gone completely deaf. His partiality toward classical music developed when he was very young. He wasn't interested in anything else as a child. When he was 5, he learned how to play the piano. From then on, nothing could stop his passion for writing and playing music. When Beethoven was 20, he began to lose his hearing. He got acute, spontaneous pains in his ears. His hearing kept getting worse over time. It was inevitable that he would eventually lose it altogether. It was very hard for him to keep writing music. He lost the virtue of patience, and he became notorious for his aggression. Still, he never stopped trying. His passion for music compelled him to keep performing, even after he was deaf. He couldn't hear himself play, but he knew that his creations sounded gorgeous. His final concert was held and was to be his finest. He gave the musicians a cue, and they began to play. He directed the concert with all his heart. He couldn't hear the music, but he said that he could feel it. Overall, the performance was one of the finest in history. When it was over, he turned to the crowd. They clapped and cheered wildly. In that beautiful moment, the applause boosted his emotions, and he began to cry. In 1827, he suffered from lead poisoning. He didn't survive the sickness, but his music did, because great music never dies. Even though Beethoven is gone, his legacy will live on forever.
Unit 13. Word list.
Aspect. An aspect is one part or feature of something.
I thought about the different aspects of owning 2 dogs.
Asset. An asset is a skill or quality that is useful or valuable.
The coach realized the boys' speed was an asset to the team.
Assignment. An assignment is a task that is given to you to do.
The teacher distributed the assignment sheets to the students in class.
Awareness. An awareness is knowledge or perception of a situation or fact.
She has little awareness of what needs to be done.
Bud. A bud is a part of a plant that turns into a flower or leaf.
2 weeks after planting the seed, a small bud appeared.
Coordinate. To coordinate things is to make different parts work together.
Each skating team had to coordinate their movements for the show.
Credit. Credit is something good in your favor.
His bank account is in credit, so he has money he can spend.
Disprove. To disprove something means to show that it is not true.
The scientists set out to disprove the theory with new evidence.
Humanitarian. If something is humanitarian, it is connected to helping people's lives.
After the flood, several humanitarian organizations offered help.
Hypothesis. A hypothesis is an idea about something that has not been proved yet.
His hypothesis suggests that sleep affects memory consolidation.
Informative. When something is informative, it provides a lot of information.
The travel guide had a lot of informative facts about the region.
Optic. When something is optic, it relates to the eyes or light.
Her blindness was caused by a problem with her optic nerve.
Premise. A premise is an idea on which something is based.
The premise of the movie that Bobby and I watched was unrealistic.
Rack. A rack is an object with shelves that holds things.
He stored his tools on a rack.
Renaissance. The Renaissance was a period between the 14th and 17th centuries.
Leonardo da Vinci was a popular artist of the Renaissance.
Spatial. When something is spatial, it relates to the position and size of things.
The virtual reality game offers an immersive spatial experience.
Specify. To specify is to describe something clearly.
The poster didn't specify where the concert was taking place.
Tie. If you tie two things together, you fasten them with rope, string, etc.
The dog is used to being tied up.
Undertake. To undertake a particular task is to take on the responsibility of doing it.
She will undertake the research project for her doctoral thesis.
Wax. Wax is a substance that is slightly shiny and melts when heated.
The candles are made of wax.
A day without sight. On Friday afternoon, Sam's teacher had a special assignment. Next week, we'll be studying humanitarian efforts around the world since the time of the Renaissance, including those to help the blind, she said. Over the weekend, I want each of you to undertake the difficult task of wearing a blindfold for an entire day. The premise of this experiment is that it will help you understand what it's like to be blind, she said. Sam was a skeptic. He really didn't think the assignment would be too challenging. On Saturday morning, Sam took a piece of cloth and tied it around his head to cover his eyes. Then he went into the kitchen for breakfast. He heard the voices of his parents and brothers, but couldn't specify where each voice was coming from, he asked. Just then he remembered he couldn't see the words on the page. He wondered if newspapers were ever made for the blind. After finishing breakfast, his brothers asked him to play soccer. As he followed them, he accidentally walked into the bike rack. He also found that he couldn't play soccer. He wouldn't be able to coordinate his actions without being able to see. Without his optic senses, he had no spatial to make sure he was safe first. He sat on the lawn. Suddenly he realized that, although he couldn't see, his other senses worked perfectly fine. In fact, he began to realize new and different aspects of common objects. For example, he took a flower bud and felt it was proved. The informative experiment had a strong effect on him. It showed him sight was an asset that should be appreciated and taught him to appreciate and give credit to the talents of blind people.
Unit 14. Word list. Addict. An addict is a person who cannot stop doing something.
She was a coffee addict. She had more than 3 cups each day.
Archaeological. When something is archaeological, it relates to archaeology.
They found archaeological evidence of an ancient species of man.
Archaeology. Archaeology is the study of ancient people through their artifacts.
He studied archaeology to learn more about ancient Egyptian culture.
Brainstorm. To brainstorm is to have a lot of ideas about a certain topic.
Let's brainstorm ideas for our upcoming marketing campaign.
Budget. A budget is the amount of money available to spend on something.
His budget for food was very tight.
Chaotic. When something is chaotic, it is crazy, confused, and hectic.
The first day of school can be chaotic for a new student.
Cite. To cite something is to mention it as an example or as proof of something.
She cited 6 reasons that the school needed to build new classrooms.
Correspond. To correspond is to match or to be similar to something.
The boy's story didn't correspond with his mother's version.
Courtyard. A courtyard is an outdoor area that is surrounded by the walls of a building.
During the summer, the courtyard is a nice place to have lunch.
Estate. An estate is a large area of land owned by a family or organization.
He lived on his father's estate in the country.
Fraud. Fraud is the crime of gaining money by lying or by tricking people.
Experts say that credit card fraud increases around the holidays.
Hydrogen. Hydrogen is a gas that has no taste, color, or smell.
Airships used to be filled with hydrogen, but it exploded easily.
Integrity. Integrity is honesty and good morals.
The principal had a lot of integrity.
Outlook. An outlook is a person's opinion or way of thinking about something.
He changed his outlook about rats after he read a book about them.
Parachute. A parachute is a device that helps people and things fall to the ground safely.
The skydiver deployed the parachute and enjoyed a smooth landing.
Prehistoric. When something is prehistoric, it is from a time before written history.
The scientists found prehistoric pots used by the people in the area.
Proponent. A proponent is a person who supports an idea or a plan.
He was a proponent of using environmentally friendly products.
Refine. To refine something is to make it better by making changes.
The principal refined his method of controlling students over the years.
Restrict. To restrict something is to limit it and prevent it from getting bigger.
The club restricted the amount of members.
Team. A team is a group of people who work closely together.
The All Blacks are my favorite sports team.
The history of parachutes. Scientists who study archaeology say that there may be some evidence of prehistoric parachutes. But the first written history of the device comes from China, about 2,100 years ago. Scientists cite an ancient book that describes parachutes. However, there is no archaeological evidence That proves that an actual parachute was ever made. Later, people from northern Africa and Italy also had ideas about a similar invention. In fact, a Leonardo da Vinci's drawing corresponds closely with the modern parachute design. In 1783, French scientist Sébastien Lenormand invented the first modern parachute. Lenormand brainstormed with a team of other scientists to come up with a way to help people jump safely out of burning buildings. He thought the solution was to give people an object to restrict their speed while they fell toward the ground. Many people thought that he was up to some kind of fraud, but Lenormand had a lot of integrity. His budget was limited, so he first tested his theory by using 2 umbrellas. He jumped out of a tree and found that the umbrellas worked. Next, he refined his invention. Rather than using umbrellas, he made a large parachute. Finally, he jumped off a tall building on a French estate and landed safely in the courtyard. Lenormand's work gave another man an idea. Jean-Pierre Blanchard had a different outlook than Lenormand. He was a hot air balloon addict. He was one of the first people to ride in a hot air balloon powered by hydrogen gas. He was a proponent of using the parachutes to exit from hot air balloons. Starting in 1785, he used his dog to show that animals could land safely from hot air balloons by using parachutes. Then, in 1793, he was faced with a chaotic experience. The hot air balloon he was riding in burst and started to fall. He was forced to use a parachute himself, and much to his relief, it saved his life.
Unit 15. Word list.
Aggregate.
Aggregate means composed of smaller amounts combined.
The company totaled its aggregate sales for the entire year.
Antibiotic. An antibiotic is a medical drug used to kill bacteria and treat infections.
The doctor gave me a shot of an antibiotic when I got the flu.
Circuit. A circuit is a piece of an electronic device that allows electricity to flow.
Be very careful not to shock yourself when fixing an electrical circuit.
Complement. To complement something or someone is to make them better.
The wool scarf complemented her lovely eyes.
Compress.
To compress is to shrink or squeeze, reducing space.
I compressed my clothes to fit into a single suitcase.
Database. A database is a collection of data that is stored in a computer.
I need to query the database to find the contact details.
Equivalent. An equivalent is an amount or value that is the same as another amount or value.
I worked the equivalent of 60 hours this week.
Immune. When someone is immune to a disease, they cannot be affected by it.
Children usually get shots to make them immune to certain diseases.
Input. Input is information that is put into a computer.
Type the input into the computer program.
Intimate. When a relationship is intimate, the two things are very closely connected.
I only tell my secrets to my most intimate friends.
Magnet. A magnet is a piece of iron or other material which attracts iron toward it.
I used a magnet to pick up the nails that were scattered on the floor.
Metabolism. A person's metabolism is the way chemical processes in their body use energy.
If you exercise every day, your metabolism speeds up.
Microchip. A microchip is a small device in a computer that holds information.
The microchip revolutionized the world of computing.
Phase. A phase is a stage in a process or the gradual development of something.
We're entering a new phase of economic growth and prosperity.
Pinch. To pinch means to take a piece of skin between one's fingers and squeeze.
I pinched my nose so I couldn't smell the odor from the garbage.
Prevalent. When something is prevalent, it is common.
Growing a beard is more prevalent in some countries than in others.
Quantum. When something is quantum, it relates to the behavior of atomic particles.
The physics student studied quantum mechanics.
Ratio. A ratio is a relationship between two things expressed in numbers or amounts.
The boy-to-girl ratio is 1:3.
Spiral. A spiral is a shape which winds round and round as if around a cylinder.
A strand of DNA looks like two interlocking spirals.
Viral. When something is viral, it is a disease or infection that is caused by a virus.
The girl was in bed for a week when she had a viral infection.
Microchips. The bond between humans and computers is becoming more intimate than ever before. Scientists are now even putting microchips inside people's bodies. They are made up of compressed electrical circuits that can detect and record data about the body. They are tiny, but they hold the equivalent amount of data as some computers. A microchip is put to use inside a person with a simple procedure. First, a doctor must put data about the patient onto a chip. Input about the person's age, race, gender, and medical history is stored on the chip. The second phase of the process involves putting it in the person's skin. The doctor pinches a piece of skin and cuts a tiny hole with a tool shaped like a spiral. The chip is inserted, and the skin is allowed to heal. Lastly, it begins sending data to the database. Microchips scan the patient's body to record what is happening on the quantum level. They can find problems with the person's metabolism and organs. They can also detect viral infections. They can find the aggregate number of immune and infected cells and present the results in a ratio. They can even tell doctors what type of antibiotic to give to the patient. To recover the chip's data, the doctor uses a special magnet that copies it. This way, the doctor can put the information from the chip onto a computer. Then they can find out exactly what is wrong with the person. The idea of putting chips in people is still very new. However, it is now becoming more prevalent. Scientists and doctors are hopeful about the future uses of microchips. Someday, all new babies might get a microchip soon after they are born. Doctors will be able to know about any problems from the very beginning. It is obvious that medicine and computers complement each other well. Unit 16. Word list.
Acid. An acid is a chemical that can burn or dissolve other substances.
In chemistry class, we combined two acids and observed the reaction.
Administration. An administration is the group of people who manage a company or organization.
She hoped she could be promoted to a job in administration.
Administrative. Administrative describes anything related to managing a company or organization.
I work as an administrative assistant to the owner of the company.
Biotechnology. Biotechnology is the use of living parts, such as cells, in industry and technology.
Biotechnology has the potential to treat genetic diseases.
Cholesterol. Cholesterol is a substance in fat, tissues, and blood of all animals.
Avocado is a source of healthy fats that can lower cholesterol.
Coalition. A coalition is a group of people or organizations working for a common purpose.
The companies formed a coalition to make trade less expensive.
Deceptive. When something is deceptive, it encourages one to believe something that is false.
The spy's deceptive tactics allowed him to gather valuable information.
Diabetes.
Diabetes is when the body can't regulate blood sugar levels.
She manages her diabetes through regular insulin injections.
Eliminate. To eliminate something that is unwanted means to completely remove it.
Wearing a seatbelt eliminates some of the dangers of driving a car.
Erosion. Erosion is the destruction of rock or soil due to flowing water or weather.
The monument has suffered erosion due to weathering.
Ethics. Ethics are moral beliefs or rules about right or wrong.
The act of stealing certainly doesn't go against some people's ethics.
Explicit. If something is explicit, it is very clear, open, and truthful.
The man gave a very explicit account of the car accident.
Framework. A framework is a set of rules or ideas that people use to solve problems.
His ideas fit into the framework of a successful business plan.
Manufacture. To manufacture something means to make it in a factory.
My father's company manufactures steel building materials.
Mechanism. A mechanism is a part of a machine that performs a certain function.
I can't open my car door because the locking mechanism is broke.
Minimize. To minimize means to reduce something to the lowest possible level.
I checked my homework twice to minimize errors I might have made.
Nectar. Nectar is a sweet liquid produced by flowers that bees and other insects collect.
Bees use nectar to make their honey.
Notion. A notion is an idea or belief about something.
I had a notion that this route would get us to the beach.
Regime. A regime is a system of government or management.
After the revolution, a new regime was established in the country.
Straightforward. When something is straightforward, it is good because it is easy to understand.
The teacher's grading system was straightforward and fair.
The new Bioco. Jack got a new job at a biotechnology company called Bioco. Bioco manufactured drugs to treat diabetes and high cholesterol. Jack's job was to use a tiny mechanism to get nectar from flowers. The nectar was a main ingredient in the drugs. Jack liked his job, and he thought that Bioco was a caring company. However, Jack soon learned that the company wasn't as kind as he first thought. Bioco's motto was, "Make the earth a better place." However, this motto was deceptive. The company actually did a number of really bad things to the environment. The company produced a lot of smog and harmful acid. Bioco poured the acid in a nearby river, which killed the fish. The waste from the factory also caused erosion of the riverbanks. After a few weeks at the new job, Jack saw all the bad things Bioco was doing. He had always had strong ethics, and he knew he had to do something. One day, while the Bioco workers were eating in the cafeteria, Jack stood up and gave a speech. He said, "My fellow co-workers, I know you have all seen the evil things our company is doing. I have a notion that we can fix them if we form a coalition. We can go to the administration and tell them we'll quit if they don't eliminate the problems. They'll have no choice but to listen to us." Jack explained what they were to do. His co-workers liked his explicit plan. They went to the administrative offices and demanded that Bioco stop damaging the environment, or they all would quit. One supervisor said to them, "Thank you for being straightforward about this issue. Since I can't afford to lose all of you workers, I guess we'll just have to fix things." Jack, his supervisor, and his co-workers spent the next month designing a new framework for the company. They cleaned up the acid from the river and minimized the amount of air pollution the company released. At last, under this new regime, the company's motto was more suitable.
Unit 17. Word list.
Bankrupt. If someone is bankrupt, then they are unable to pay their debts.
The store had few customers and soon went bankrupt.
Conform. To conform to rules or laws is to obey them.
The new student had to conform to the school's dress code.
Employ. To employ someone means to give work to them.
The bookstore employed 2 full-time clerks.
Expel. To expel someone means to force them to leave a place.
The school will expel the student for repeated acts of vandalism.
Extension. An extension is a part added to something to give it more time or space.
My parents decided to add an extension to our house for the new baby.
Forthcoming. If something is forthcoming, then it is about to happen in the future.
He revealed some forthcoming details about his upcoming project.
Furnish. To furnish means to put furniture in a house or room.
Most homes are furnished with tables, chairs, and beds.
Hygiene. Hygiene is the conditions or methods needed for health and cleanliness.
Shower regularly to maintain personal hygiene.
Hygienic. If something is hygienic, then it is clean and unlikely to cause disease.
The restaurant maintains a hygienic environment for its customers.
Landlord. A landlord is a man who rents property to a person.
The landlord collects monthly rent from his tenants on time.
Lease. To lease means to rent property, usually an apartment or land.
When the family first leased the apartment, the rent was very low.
Mandatory. If something is mandatory, then it is required by law.
It's mandatory that everyone be at least 16 to drive a car in the U.S.
Mend. To mend something means to fix it when it is broken or damaged.
Mother mended the rip in my pants with a piece of cloth.
Mortgage. A mortgage is a loan for property, especially a home or a business.
I need a mortgage for the new house I want to buy.
Personnel. Personnel are employees in a business.
When business increased, we had to hire more personnel.
Plumbing. Plumbing is the system of pipes used in a home to supply water.
He learned plumbing skills from his father.
Quote.
A quote includes the spoken words and the price for a piece of work.
His writing was full of quotes from Shakespeare.
Tenant. A tenant is a person who rents property from a landlord.
The new tenants moved into the house across the street.
Utility. A utility is a business that supplies services, such as water or electricity.
If you don't pay the utilities, you may have your electricity turned off.
Whereby. Whereby means by which or through which.
He devised a plan whereby they could escape undetected.
The Resourceful Landlord. A kind landlord was afraid that he would lose his apartment building. He needed to make some mandatory repairs to the old building, or his tenants would have to leave by the end of the month. Without tenants to lease the rooms, the landlord would be unable to pay his mortgage. He'd be bankrupt, and the bank would take his building. He got quotes for the repairs, but he didn't have the money whereby he could employ the personnel needed to make them. It would seem like he did not want to conform to the city's codes before the forthcoming inspection. He had requested an extension, but it was denied by the city. He held a meeting with his tenants and explained the unfortunate situation. If the building does not meet the appropriate standards for safety and hygiene, he said, the city will expel everyone. The tenants were all sad for the kind old man. Maybe we can help, said the hairdresser who lived on the first floor. The other tenants agreed. One tenant had worked for the city's utilities. He knew a lot about plumbing, so that's how he helped. Another tenant was a carpenter. He mended the holes in the floor and walls. Others cleaned the building from top to bottom so that it was more hygienic. They even furnished some of the apartments with new beds, dressers, and chairs. When they were done, all of the people went into their apartment, and the landlord went home to rest. When the deadline of the inspection arrived, the apartment building was hygienic and safe. The landlord couldn't believe it. His old building now looked like one of the nicest buildings in town. The building passed its inspection, and the landlord and the tenants had a big party. "Thank you all so much," the landlord said during the party. "I could never have done it by myself, but by working together, we now all have a beautiful place to live." Unit 18. Word list.
Adapt. To adapt means to change in order to deal with a new situation.
He had to adapt quickly to the new environment after moving.
Biological. Biological describes the process of life and living things.
The biologist studied the biological diversity of the rainforest.
Cellular. When something is cellular, it relates to the cells of animals or plants.
She used a microscope to see the activity at a cellular level.
Dynamic. When people are dynamic, they are lively and have creative ideas.
The dynamic duo quickly solved the problem and saved the day.
Fantasy.
A fantasy is an unlikely, pleasant situation people imagine.
Becoming an astronaut is a fantasy shared by many children.
Heredity. Heredity is the process of passing on features from parents to children.
The boy's face is similar to his father's because of heredity.
Internal.
Internal things exist or occur inside someone, something, or somewhere.
We removed the outer case to reveal the computer's internal wires.
Minimal. When something is minimal, it is very small.
My lazy husband does a minimal amount of work around the house.
Pioneer. A pioneer is a person who is the first to discover or be involved in something.
He was a pioneer of computer programming.
Prescribe. To prescribe medicine means to tell someone to take it.
The doctor will prescribe antibiotics to treat your infection.
Respective.
When respective, they relate individually to each person mentioned.
The boxers were told to return to their respective corners.
Rigid.
Rigid rules or systems are severe and unchangeable.
The company's policies are rigid and leave no room for negotiation.
Sequence. A sequence is a number of events or things that come one after another.
The dominoes fell in a sequence of one after another.
Similar. Things which are similar are almost the same.
I have had a similar experience to the one you described.
Substitute. To substitute something or someone means to have them take the place of another.
He couldn't attend, so I'll substitute for him in the meeting.
Surgeon. A surgeon is a doctor who is trained to do surgery.
The surgeon operated on the old man's heart.
Therapy. Therapy is treatment for a particular physical or mental illness or condition.
Music therapy helps patients relax and express themselves.
Transfer. To transfer something means to move it from one place to another.
Please transfer the funds to my account by tomorrow morning.
Transition. A transition is a process where there is a change from one form to another.
The weather gets colder during the transition from summer to autumn.
Transplant. A transplant is an operation in which a damaged part of one's body is replaced.
The sick child needed a heart transplant to live.
The first organ transplant. In 1954, a man named Richard was dying of kidney disease. He wouldn't survive for long unless he got a new kidney right away. Richard's twin brother, Ronald, was willing to donate one of his kidneys to his dying brother. At the time, however, no doctor had ever performed a successful internal organ transplant. The idea of taking an organ out of one person and putting it into another was just a fantasy. But the brothers decided to be brave and found a doctor who could make organ transplants a reality. Since Richard and Ronald were twins, their heredity was identical. They had the exact same biological traits. Even their kidneys were identical at the cellular level. Therefore, Ronald's working kidney could be substituted for Richard's bad one. Richard's body could adapt to the new organ if the operation was done correctly. The twins went to Dr. Murray, who was a pioneer of new surgical methods. His dynamic team of surgeons performed the transplant. Dr. Murray made sure his surgeons followed a rigid sequence of directions so that no mistakes were made. First, they made a minimal cut in Richard's side and removed the bad kidney. Then, they made another small cut in Ronald's side, removed his kidney, and transferred it into Richard's body. Finally, they sewed up the respective cuts. The entire operation only took about 1 hour. After the surgery, it was clear that both brothers were going to be okay. The operation was confirmed a success. Richard's new kidney worked great. Doctors prescribed medicine for the pain caused by the surgery. Since Richard was still weak, he used physical therapy to rebuild his strength. At last, Richard's transition into a healthy, happy person was complete. Dr. Murray became a hero in the medical world. His success gave other doctors confidence to try organ transplants themselves. Now, doctors perform similar life-saving transplants and surgeries every day.
Unit 19. Word list.
Astrology. Astrology is the study of the stars in the belief that they influence people's lives.
Astrology believes in the influence of planets on human life.
Couple. A couple is made of two things that go together.
There were a couple of problems I had to solve.
Deviate. To deviate is to move away from your proper course.
Very few deviate much from the average.
Differentiate. To differentiate things or people is to show the difference between them.
It was hard to differentiate between the identical twins.
Disrupt. To disrupt something or someone is to prevent them from working.
The loud crash disrupted the class lecture.
Equation. An equation is a math operation to determine the value of something.
I used the Pythagorean theorem to solve the equation.
Err. To err means to make a mistake.
Don't err in assuming that success comes without hard work.
Erroneous. When something is erroneous, it is incorrect or only partly correct.
The child held the erroneous belief that time machines were real.
Frantic.
Frantic people or things behave wildly out of fear.
The cat became frantic when I tried to give it a bath.
Inadvertent.
Inadvertent actions occur without awareness or realization.
She made an inadvertent error when she knocked over the nail polish.
Improvise.
To improvise is to do without planning or using available resources.
The chef had to improvise a new recipe using limited ingredients.
Latitude. The latitude of a place is its distance from the equator.
The device was able to tell the traveler his exact latitude.
Mariner. A mariner is a sailor.
The old mariner used his telescope to find the shore.
Multitude. A multitude of things or people is a very large number of them.
A multitude of people were waiting at the airport.
Nuisance. A nuisance is a person or thing that is annoying or causes a lot of problems.
Mosquitoes buzzing around are a constant nuisance in the summer.
Permanence. The permanence of something is its ability to last forever.
Poor results threaten the permanence of the new system.
Revolve. To revolve around something is to keep it as the main feature or focus.
My life revolves around sports.
Soothe. To soothe means to calm someone who is angry or upset.
The mother soothed her crying baby by rocking him in her arms.
Stranded. If someone is stranded, they are prevented from leaving a place.
When the plane left, my sister and I were stranded in China.
Technique. A technique is a way of doing something.
He mastered the technique of playing the piano with great precision.
The North Star. Among the multitude of stars in the universe, there are a couple that are of great importance to people. The Sun, of course, is one of them. The other is known as Polaris, the North Star. Polaris is special because it is the only star that always appears to be in the same place in the sky. Therefore, Polaris is a great compass. When people in the northern hemisphere of Earth look toward Polaris, they can be certain that they are facing north. The permanence of Polaris in the north sky has helped countless people find their destinations. Before the invention of modern navigation tools, mariners relied on Polaris. Their technique was to look for Polaris to figure out their place at sea. They figured out the angle between the star and the horizon to determine their latitude. As long as the equations weren't erroneous, the results were very reliable. Polaris also let sailors determine north, south, east, and west. By knowing directions and their location, mariners could easily navigate their ships. To those who sail at night, wild storms and dark clouds were more than nuisances. They could disrupt entire journeys by blocking the view of Polaris. A captain could err and make an inadvertent turn, deviating from the correct course. The ship could become stranded at sea, and the frantic captain would have no way to improvise to get the ship back on the right course. The mariners' fears wouldn't be soothed until the clouds cleared and Polaris came back into view. Even today, sailors sometimes choose to navigate by using Polaris on clear nights. It's not difficult to differentiate Polaris from other stars. The Big Dipper, which is well known in astrology, appears to revolve around Polaris. The handle of the Big Dipper always points to the North Star. When people get lost, it's comforting to know that their problems can be solved by looking at the sky. Unit 20. Word list.
Absurd. If something or someone is absurd, they are ridiculous.
That group of people making animal noises sounds completely absurd.
Aristocracy. The aristocracy is the highest class of people in certain societies.
Most members of the aristocracy were very well fed.
Aristocrat. An aristocrat is a person who is of the highest class in certain societies.
The aristocrat did not need a job because his family was wealthy.
Attire. Attire is nice or special clothing.
Everyone wore their best attire to the president's daughter's wedding.
Craze. A craze is a brief and popular activity or object.
Wearing bright red socks was a craze when I was in high school.
Denote.
Denote means to indicate or represent something specifically.
Quotation marks are used to denote speech.
Enlarge. To enlarge something means to make it bigger.
Please enlarge the font on the document for better readability.
Excess. An excess is an amount of something that is more than needed or wanted.
She ate with excess and felt uncomfortable afterwards.
Feminine.
Feminine things embody traits associated with women.
Older folks found his long hair too feminine looking.
Hierarchy. A hierarchy is a system of things or people ranked one above the other.
Everyone knows where they fit in the hierarchy.
Pad. A pad is a thick piece of soft material used to protect or clean things.
Football players wear shoulder pads to keep them safe.
Partner. Your partner is someone who lives or works with you as an equal.
Ladies and gentlemen, take your partners for the next dance.
Predominant.
Something predominant is the most important, common, or strongest.
The predominant issue in the election was healthcare.
Protocol. Protocol is a system of rules and customs that guides how things are done.
The introduction of the guests followed the normal protocol.
Reputable. If someone or something is reputable, then they have a good reputation.
The service from the less than reputable company made her angry.
Signify. To signify means to be a symbol of something.
A red octagon is used to signify a place to stop.
Strap. A strap is a thin, long piece of fabric used to fasten, carry, or hold something.
The photographer slung the camera around his neck with a strap.
Style. Your style is the way you do things.
Her clothes were all in the latest style.
Tangle. A tangle is something or many things twisted together.
The dog's fur was a tangle of knots after playing in the woods.
Vanity.
Vanity is an excessive love for one's appearance or achievements.
Her vanity won't allow her to pass a mirror without looking at herself.
Dressed to excess. If you traveled back in time to the 1700s in Europe, you would laugh when you saw how the aristocracy dressed. Soon you'd realize, though, that the aristocrats of Europe were very serious about their appearance. Their appearance was one way of denoting their rank in the social hierarchy. The predominant style in women's attire was enormous dresses. They were often 3 times larger than the wearer. Ladies even used pads to enlarge the appearance of their hips and shoulders. On the other extreme, the aristocratic women made their waists appear extremely thin. It took several maids stretching fabric and pulling straps in order to get a lady's waist to the proper thinness. These ladies could barely breathe and often fainted. Pale skin was also a craze, yet this too was done in excess. One could not simply be pale. Instead, she needed to look as if she was ill. In order to look paler, ladies actually cut themselves daily so they would bleed. The hairstyles, however, were the most striking part of women's fashion. These stood a meter high on the ladies' heads. The columns of hair were a ridiculous tangle of wigs, jewels, flowers, and even stuffed birds. Their partners, the men, were similarly absurd. Today, they would probably seem very feminine. Reputable men wore wigs of long, curly hair. Their shoes had large soles or high heels so that they could walk high above the filth on the streets. Furthermore, just like the ladies, the men wore lipstick and painted their cheeks red. Their clothes were brightly colored, often purple and pink. They were made from the finest of fabrics and decorated with jewels and lace. The men competed with one another to see who wore the more expensive clothes, for the clothing signified wealth and status. Both men and women spent huge amounts of money and time on how they looked, but it was part of the protocol they were expected to follow. Though such vanity would seem strange today, 300 years from now, the fashions of our time might also seem completely ridiculous.
Unit 21. Word list.
Ashore. If something goes ashore, it goes from the water to the land.
He swam to the boat and climbed ashore, dripping wet.
Contradict. To contradict means to state the opposite of what someone else has said.
The evidence presented in court contradicts the defendant's alibi.
Counterpart. A counterpart is something that is very similar to something else in what it does.
Our manager will meet our rival company's counterpart later today.
Devoid. When something or someone is devoid of a thing, they are missing it.
The room was devoid of any furniture, giving it a stark appearance.
Diverge. To diverge is to become different or to follow a different direction.
The road diverged into two paths that led to our houses.
Embryo. An embryo is a human or animal that is still growing inside its mother.
The embryo grows inside the mother's womb.
Finally. When something finally happens, it happens at the end of a series of events.
We finally reached our destination.
Gazette. A gazette is a newspaper.
Alice wants to write for a gazette when she's older.
Homogeneous. If something is homogeneous, it is made up of things which are all the same.
All of the houses on Victor's block were boring and homogeneous.
Individual. An individual is a single member of a group.
Each individual is responsible for themselves.
Major. A major event is a very important event.
There had been a major shift in government policy.
Obstruct. To obstruct something means to get in its way.
The car broke down on the road and obstructed traffic for hours.
Plunge. To plunge means to move down into something very quickly.
The water in the pool was very cold, but the boy plunged in anyway.
Prolong. To prolong means to make something last for a longer time.
Sandy walked slowly across the beach, trying to prolong her lunch break.
Publicize. To publicize is to make something get a lot of attention.
The company publicized the job positions in the newspaper.
Surplus. A surplus is an extra amount of something.
The store sold their surplus items on sale.
Survive.
When something survives despite challenges, it keeps living.
She survived a heart attack.
Theorize. To theorize means to develop ideas about something.
They enjoyed theorizing about how things worked.
Verify. To verify means to find out if something is true.
Julian called the movie theater to verify that the movie started at 9.
Vigorous. If something or someone is vigorous, they use a lot of energy.
Henry uses vigorous exercise to keep himself in shape.
Amazing Komodo dragons. Once a British Gazette had an unusual story. Scientists at a zoo made a major discovery about Komodo dragons. Komodo dragons are giant lizards that grow up to 2.5 meters long. A female lizard at the zoo had babies. However, it had never been around a male lizard in its entire life. After the scientists publicized their discovery, many people thought it was not true. But it was true. It was discovered that female Komodo dragons can have babies without the help of their male counterparts. This contradicts what scientists know about how most animals have babies. In most cases, there are many things that can obstruct this type of reproduction. For example, adult males and females carry different genes needed to make an embryo. If the genes are homogeneous, the babies are weaker and have genetic problems. Over time, the weakened species dies out completely. This makes it necessary for the male to be involved. However, scientists verified that when Komodo babies are born, their genes aren't the exact same genes as their mother. Also, they are devoid of any genetic problems. Scientists theorize that Komodo dragons develop the ability because it helps the species avoid extinction. If a volcano erupts, lava can kill all of the Komodo dragons on an island. However, as long as an individual female avoids death, she can prolong the survival of the species. Luckily, Komodo dragons are vigorous swimmers, so the surviving female can plunge into the ocean and swim to another island. When she comes ashore, she can reproduce by herself. Over time, the genes within the population diverge. Then the small population increases. Finally, there is a surplus of lizards on one island. Scientists think that this may be how the lizards survived and took over all of the islands in that area. Unit 22. Word list. Altar. An altar is a table used in churches.
The altar had many lit candles on it.
Arthritis. Arthritis is an illness causing pain and swelling in a person's joints.
Agatha couldn't play the piano anymore because of her arthritis.
Botany. Botany is the study of plants.
Gardens are the best places for botany.
Credible. If something or someone is credible, they can be believed or trusted.
Dick gave a credible reason for being late and didn't get in any trouble.
Deceased. If someone is deceased, they are dead.
We visited the graves of our deceased grandparents.
Deception. Deception is the act of lying or tricking someone.
The magic looked very real, but it was only deception.
Document. A document is a written text, usually not in the form of a book.
Please scan this document so we have an electronic copy.
Dung. Dung is solid waste material produced by animals.
There was cow dung all over the field.
Dusk. Dusk is the time in the evening when it begins to get dark.
After dusk, Hannah went to catch fireflies in the park.
Gratify. To gratify someone means to please them.
Bonnie was gratified after receiving her gift from her parents.
Hone. To hone something is to improve it and make it very good.
Lisa honed her chess skills through hours and hours of practice.
Interpret.
Interpreting finds meaning by translating into another language.
It is difficult to interpret while someone is speaking.
Motive. Your motive is your reason for doing something.
His motive for donating was to help those in need.
Pneumonia. Pneumonia is a dangerous illness causing the lungs to fill with liquid.
Elaine got pneumonia after playing outside in the rain without a coat.
Psychic.
Psychics know what will happen or what people think.
He claimed to be a psychic medium connecting with the deceased.
Psychotic. If someone is psychotic, they have a very serious mental illness.
The psychotic patient believed he saw things that weren't real.
Scope. The scope of something is how many people or things it relates to.
Modern history has a wide scope.
Sinister. If something or someone is sinister, they are evil.
Bad guys in most movies have sinister laughs.
Strife. Strife is disagreement or fighting between people or groups.
The political party faced internal strife due to ideological differences.
Text. Text is language used in communicating messages.
Spoken text has many features which are different from written text.
Greek magical papyri. The Greek magical papyri is a collection of writing about magic. After it was found in the Egyptian desert, it took experts years to interpret it. The text was written in at least 3 different ancient languages. After many years, experts realized the document contained a number of spells that varied greatly in scope. The most common types of magic in the collection dealt with healing illnesses like pneumonia. Some spells also gave advice for treating people with mental illnesses, such as those who became psychotic. Some spells utilized unusual things, like crocodile dung, but botany was an important part of the magic. Many healing spells gave instructions on how to use herbs and plants that were believed to be helpful. For example, in order to cure arthritis, the book says that the magician should build a beautiful altar. Then, he should crush different types of herbs and place them on top of it. At dusk, he is supposed to say a spell so the gods would be gratified. Other parts of the collection describe how to hone one's psychic abilities and how to give credible descriptions of the future. Often, the book advised people how to use different objects to tell the future, including tea leaves. Also, one part of the book tells what different dreams might mean. It gives advice for using dreams to tell the future. A small part of the book, however, has more sinister motives than the rest. It is meant to cause strife and deception. For example, one tells how to give someone warts, while another will make all of the victim's farm animals die. However, if someone's farm animals died as a result of a curse, he could ask a magician to perform magic that makes the deceased recover and come back to life.
Unit 23. Word list.
Artery. An artery is a tube that takes blood from the heart to the rest of the body.
Eating healthily keeps your arteries clean so blood can flow with ease.
Deterioration. Deterioration is the act of becoming worse.
The lack of care led to the deterioration of the house.
Elusive. If things or people are elusive, they are hard to find.
The elusive fish only came out at night.
Ensure. When you ensure something, you make sure it happens.
Saving now will ensure we have enough money for our retirement.
Induce. To induce something means to make it happen.
Running without good shoes may induce leg pain.
Inseparable. If two things are inseparable, they can't be separated.
Denise and Diana have been inseparable since they first met.
Invalid. If something is invalid, it is not correct.
The way to winning debates is to avoid invalid arguments.
Magnify. To magnify something means to make it look bigger than it really is.
Astronomers use telescopes to magnify faraway stars.
Mainstream.
The mainstream is what's normal and accepted by most.
The book challenged mainstream beliefs and sparked controversy.
Microbe. A microbe is a very small living thing that often makes people sick.
Microbes can be found everywhere, from soil to our own bodies.
Minor. A minor problem is a very small and unimportant problem.
This is a minor problem.
Negligible. If something is negligible, it is extremely small and not important.
The amount she owed was negligible. It was less than 10 cents.
Paralysis. Paralysis is the loss of the ability to move all or part of your body.
His paralysis meant that he had to use a wheelchair to get around.
Pest. A pest is an animal or insect that hurts plants or food.
Many farmers put up scarecrows to keep pests off their corn.
Prevail. To prevail means to be accepted or very common.
Unfortunately, injustice still prevails in the country's court system.
Pursuit. When you are in pursuit of something, you are chasing it.
The pursuit of happiness is a basic human right.
Rupture. To rupture means to tear or burst open.
Sarah put too much water into the balloon and it ruptured.
Savage. If things or people are savage, they are very violent or cruel.
Wild animals are very savage when defending their babies.
Stun.
To stun is to render someone speechless through surprise or shock.
Tim fell off the swing and was too stunned to cry.
Susceptible. If one is susceptible to something like a disease, they are easily harmed by it.
She's susceptible to colds, so she takes extra vitamin C.
Dangerous bites. There are many animals with dangerous bites in the world, but which one is the worst? People assume snakes are the most dangerous. Some would say that the elusive short-tailed mamushi has the worst bite. The snake only goes into homes in pursuit of pests, such as mice. Otherwise, it stays in the fields, where it's dangerous to people who search for food there. Usually, it is reluctant to attack humans, but if someone stuns it by accidentally stepping on it, it bites to protect itself. At first, the effects of the bite may seem minor and negligible because it doesn't cause a lot of bleeding. However, after a few moments, the venom induces paralysis in the area where the individual was bitten. Furthermore, the venom can also interfere with breathing. If the person doesn't go to the doctor, they are susceptible to kidney deterioration. Others would argue that tigers have the worst bite. Mother tigers are inseparable from their babies and seem to be the gentlest creatures when they are around their young. However, if the babies are threatened, the mother tiger's savage nature prevails to ensure their safety. With strong jaws and the ability to move quickly, the tiger can kill someone with one bite. That's because it always tries to bite an important artery when it attacks. If the artery is ruptured, the victim will bleed to death. In the mainstream, animal bites are seen as the most dangerous, but some scientists think this idea is invalid. In fact, the most dangerous bite might be the human bite. When scientists magnify the contents in human saliva, they found about 300 different microbes in it. A human bite can be dangerous if the bacteria enters the body through a cut, which can make people very sick. Furthermore, most people don't realize how serious a human bite can be, so they don't go to the doctor right away. This gives the wound a chance to get infected and cause more problems. Unit 24. Word list.
Advocate. To advocate a plan or idea is to support or suggest it in public.
The group advocated increased spending on education and schools.
Albeit.
Albeit means although, even though, despite.
She was happy, albeit briefly.
Authorize. To authorize something means to give permission for it.
The mayor authorized the construction of a new statue in the park.
Civilian. A civilian is someone who is not in the military.
It was Todd's job to keep civilians from entering the army facility.
Commodity. A commodity is something that can be bought or sold.
Fran's uncle made most of his money trading commodities.
Communicate. When we communicate with others, we talk or write to them.
He was unable to communicate his feelings clearly.
Conquest. A conquest is an event by which one country takes over another country.
After the conquest, the people of the small city had no freedom.
Disclose. To disclose something means to tell it to someone else.
John came home late, so he had to disclose his activities to his wife.
Dynamics. The dynamics of a situation are the way that parts of it affect each other.
The team's dynamics improved after the new coach took over.
Enroll. To enroll in something is to put one's name on a list as a member of a group.
The students had to enroll in the class one semester in advance.
Envious. When someone is envious, they want something that another person has.
They were envious of their neighbor's front yard.
Festive. When something is festive, it is happy and related to a party or celebration.
The town was adorned with festive lights for the Christmas season.
Indicate. When we indicate something, we show or point out our thoughts or plans.
They indicated that things would be likely to improve soon.
Lentil. Lentils are very small beans that people cook and eat.
Danny made her special soup with lentils when her husband was sick.
Marshal. To marshal a group means to assemble them in order.
The students were marshaled outside and put into groups.
Morale. Morale is the amount of hope that people have during a difficult situation.
To improve our family's morale, Mom suggested going on a picnic.
Mood. Your mood is the way you are feeling.
My boss is in a really bad mood today.
Prophecy. A prophecy is a prediction about what will happen in the future.
Some people believe that prophecies are actually true.
Senate. A senate is a part of the government in some countries.
The senator delivered a powerful speech during the Senate session.
Unrest. Unrest is a state of anger about something among the people in a place.
The economic downturn caused widespread social unrest.
The Lydian King. King Croesus was once one of the richest kings in the world. He ruled over Lydia, an ancient empire located near modern-day Turkey, and controlled a valuable commodity, gold. Many people were very envious of him. One day, a messenger disclosed some interesting news. Political unrest in Persia had weakened the empire. Before then, the Persians had taken over many countries. Many leaders were scared of the Persian conquest, but King Croesus understood the dynamics of war better than most. He decided that it would be a good time to try to beat the Persians while they were weak. He advocated starting a war, but nobody shared his wishes. Then, he asked a wise member of the Senate who was visiting from Athens. He didn't say whether he should attack the Persians or not. He only indicated that the king's good luck wouldn't last. Finally, King Croesus sent a messenger to communicate with the oracle, a special lady who could see the future. The messenger gave the oracle jugs of wine and baskets of lentils in order to make her happy. When the messenger came back, he was in a festive mood. "What was the oracle's prophecy?" asked King Croesus. The messenger responded, "She said that if you attack Persia, you will destroy a great empire." The news filled Croesus with happiness. After hearing the oracle's prophecy, many civilians enrolled in the Lydian army. The king marshaled his troops and prepared them for a war with Persia. Their morale was high because they were sure they would win. Soon, King Croesus authorized an attack against the Persians. However, the Persian army was still very strong. After a few months of fighting, it was obvious that the oracle's prophecy had come true, albeit not in the expected way. By attacking the Persians, King Croesus had destroyed a great empire, his own. King Croesus should have considered the ambiguous advice more carefully.
Unit 25. Word list. Certify. To certify something means to confirm that its results are true.
The document is certified as genuine by the authorized authority.
Coherent. The parts of a coherent plan fit well together.
This was a coherent program for solving the flooding problem.
Collaborate. To collaborate means to work together on something.
When they collaborated, they managed to finish their chores early.
Compile. To compile things means to collect a variety of them into a group.
He compiled a list of his favorite books for the reading challenge.
Curb. To curb something means to prevent it from happening or increasing.
She curbed her anger by listening to a relaxing song.
Diagnose. To diagnose someone means to identify the medical condition they have.
Several of the children were diagnosed with the flu.
Enact. To enact something means to make it into a law.
The government will enact stricter measures to combat pollution.
Federation. A federation is a group of states or businesses working for a common cause.
The Federation established a common currency for member countries.
Gross. If something is gross, then it is disgusting.
The food was so gross that the dog couldn't eat it without feeling sick.
Humane. If something is humane, then it is good and kind.
Helping build homes for poor people is very humane.
Needy. If someone is needy, they are very poor.
After he lost his job, he became very needy.
Onset. The onset of something unpleasant is the beginning of it.
The onset of winter brought freezing temperatures and heavy snowfall.
Pledge. To pledge means to make a promise to do something.
Her mother pledged that she would find her daughter's lost kitten.
Prohibit. To prohibit something means to not allow it.
She prohibited the students from speaking until their work was done.
Render. To render something means to make it become something else.
The storm will render the city powerless and disrupt daily activities.
Smallpox. Smallpox is a disease that causes tiny bumps on the skin and high fevers.
Smallpox claimed countless lives before the development of a vaccine.
Transform. To transform something is to change it in a very significant way.
The education system has been completely transformed.
Transmit.
To transmit is to pass something from one person or place to another.
The virus can transmit through close contact.
Vow. To vow means to make a promise to do something.
She made a vow to always protect her younger sister.
Widespread. Something that is widespread is spread widely across the world.
It is a widespread belief that colds are caused by cold weather.
The End of Smallpox. Smallpox was once the most deadly widespread disease in the world. During the 1800s, more than 20 million people got the disease every year. Of those, nearly half died. At the onset of smallpox, people suffered from high fevers, headaches, vomiting, and aching muscles. Yet the worst symptom of all was the irritation over the entire body. Those who survived the disease were often rendered blind or left with gross scars on their face and body. Today, however, cases of smallpox are very rare due to the work of many countries during the late 1900s. This federation of countries collaborated to completely destroy smallpox. Early in the century, wealthy countries in Europe and North America had developed a substance that made the body immune to smallpox. They had required all their citizens to get this vaccine to fight the disease. Hence, the people of these countries no longer had to worry about smallpox. However, many of the needy people in poorer parts of the world still suffered from the disease. Their countries could not afford the vaccine, nor supply enough doctors to curb the spread of smallpox. In 1950, the wealthier countries of the world vowed to rid the world of the disease. They worked out a coherent strategy to do this. They pledged to supply the vaccine to any country that could not afford it. Scientists compiled lists of areas where the disease still thrived. Then doctors diagnosed people who had the disease in these areas. They enacted laws that prohibited people with smallpox from mixing with those who did not. In this way, they could not transmit the disease to others. Then, the doctors gave all of them the vaccine. It took a long time and a lot of work, but nearly 30 years later, on December 9, 1979, a group of scientists certified that smallpox had been successfully stopped. The humane efforts of people from all over the world had accomplished a great task and transformed people's lives. Unit 26. Word list.
Adhere. To adhere means to act in the way that a rule or agreement says is right.
The climbers had to adhere to safety protocols on the mountain.
Administer. To administer means to take responsibility for organizing something.
The teacher's assistant will administer the test.
Compassionate.
Compassionate people feel pity and sympathy for others.
The compassionate nurse tried to make the sick man feel comfortable.
Contaminate. To contaminate something means to put dirty or harmful chemicals into it.
The lake was contaminated when pollutants entered the water.
Deficiency. A deficiency is a lack of something, especially something that is needed.
Your snack has a deficiency of any real nutrients.
Emphasis.
Emphasis refers to giving special importance or prominence to something.
The government placed a strong emphasis on educational reform.
Epidemic. An epidemic is an outbreak of a disease that spreads quickly.
It was difficult to stop the flu epidemic.
Hazard. A hazard is something that could be dangerous to a person's health or safety.
Smoking cigarettes poses many health hazards.
Imperative. When something is imperative, it is extremely important and must be done.
It was imperative for him to find a job.
Intestines. Intestines are tubes through which food passes after it leaves the stomach.
Whatever you eat goes into your intestines.
Manifest. To manifest means to make something visible or obvious.
The holiday joy manifested in children's bright smiles.
Overcrowded. When a place is overcrowded, it has too many people or things in it.
The lobby was overcrowded with people.
Practitioner. Practitioner is a doctor.
She made an appointment with the practitioner to treat her cough.
Provision. The provision of something is the act of giving it to people in need or want.
He made a provision for his children's education in his will.
Replenish. To replenish something means to make it full or complete again.
The store needs to replenish its stock of fresh produce.
Reverse. When a car reverses, it goes backwards.
We reversed out of the parking place and then drove away.
Sterile. When something is sterile, it is completely clean and free from germs.
The hospital room looked quite sterile.
Upgrade. To upgrade something means to improve it or make it more efficient.
He upgraded to a real fancy car.
Viable. When something is viable, it is capable of doing what it is intended to do.
Her method of solving the math problem seemed viable.
Voluntary. When something is voluntary, it is done by choice, but is not required.
Many people attended the voluntary boat safety class. Epidemic in Zimbabwe. In August of 2008,
a deadly cholera epidemic manifested itself in Zimbabwe. A severe health hazard caused the outbreak. There was a lack of clean drinking water in the overcrowded urban areas. Garbage and chemicals got into the public water supplies and contaminated them. Since people did not have access to other sources, they had to drink the dirty water. The outbreak spread rapidly and infected almost 16,000 people. The illness caused extreme pain in people's intestines. It also caused a deficiency of important fluids in sick people's bodies. Without the proper fluids and minerals, their bodies stopped working correctly. People were unable to digest food properly or replenish their lost nutrients. Without viable treatment, they would die. It was imperative to reverse the situation. However, the government of Zimbabwe was unable to provide help to its people. The government didn't have a plan to stop the spread of cholera. In addition, the country was too poor to get clean water or medication for the sick. The people seemed to be doomed. Luckily, many other countries recognized the need to contain the outbreak. Dozens of voluntary practitioners from Britain, France, the United States, and other countries went to Zimbabwe to treat the disease. Through the provision of sterile drinking water and medication, people finally got the treatment they badly needed. The compassionate doctors were able to save the lives of thousands. By January of 2009, the epidemic was almost completely contained. Today, the Zimbabwean government is investing in measures to avoid future epidemics and placing an emphasis on prevention. They are cleaning up the water supply and making changes to reduce health hazards. The system used to filter water is being upgraded. The government now administers the water supply plants and makes sure that they adhere to strict safety guidelines. Hopefully, future instances of cholera will be treated before they start deadly epidemics.
Unit 27. Word list.
Airway. An airway is the passage by which air reaches a person's lungs.
Since he was sick, mucus would occasionally get stuck in his airway.
Almighty. The Almighty is a name for a god in a religion.
Before eating, they thanked the Almighty for their food.
Advent. An advent is the arrival or beginning of an important person, thing, or event.
The advent of summer brings sunny days and warm weather.
Cycle.
A cycle is an event series that loops back from end to start.
The butterfly undergoes a life cycle from egg to caterpillar to adult.
Definitive. If something is definitive, then it is the most official.
This library has the definitive collection of books on ancient Egypt.
Equate.
To equate things is to compare and deem them alike.
She equated the man's messy appearance with a lack of responsibility.
Found. To found something on an idea or principle is to base it on that idea.
This is founded on the belief that all people are created equal.
Ideology. An ideology is a system of belief.
They clash due to a fundamental difference in ideology.
Inhale. To inhale means to take air or a smell into the lungs.
The camper inhaled the cool and fresh mountain air and felt relaxed.
Invoke. To invoke something is to mention it to support an argument or ask for help.
She invoked her right to remain silent during the interrogation.
Lunar. If something is lunar, then it is related to the moon.
During a lunar eclipse, Earth's shadow darkens the moon's surface.
Novelty. A novelty is something that is new, original, or strange.
Ice cream was a novelty for him since he rarely had any.
Outmoded. If something is outmoded, then it is no longer in fashion or use.
Black and white television sets are outmoded.
Personalize.
To personalize means to customize to fit individual needs.
He personalized the woman's exercises to give her a better workout.
Psychiatric.
Psychiatric things pertain to mental illness or its treatment.
The doctor said the patient might have a psychiatric problem.
Psychiatry. Psychiatry is the study and treatment of mental illness.
Studying psychiatry has taught me a lot about mental illness.
Reflex. A reflex is an unconscious action in which a body part responds to an event.
There was a reflex when the doctor hit his knee with a rubber hammer.
Seizure. A seizure is a sudden condition in which the body loses control and shakes.
Bright flashing lights can cause seizures in children.
Session. A session is a meeting at a regular time in order to discuss and solve an issue.
The court session was postponed due to a power outage.
Utensil. A utensil is a common tool or container.
It seemed that a fork was the wrong utensil for trying to eat the soup.
Seizures Then and Now. If a person who lived 200 years ago was treated for a seizure today, they would be surprised by the treatment's novelty. That's because doctors in the 1800s were influenced more by very old medical beliefs than by science. Rather than thinking the brain caused seizures, people in the 1800s still thought they were the result of strange forces. This belief was founded on an ideology that equated seizures with the work of evil spirits. Others felt that the seizures had a cosmic or lunar cause. They believed that the cycles of the moon and planets could make someone have a seizure. During a session to treat a patient who had seizures, doctors would force the patient to invoke the grace of the Almighty. They thought if the patient did this, then the patient would rid themselves of the evil spirits causing the seizures. The advent of modern psychiatry occurred during the 1800s. At that time, people who suffered from seizures were placed in psychiatric hospitals. They were treated like they were insane. However, none of the outmoded treatments worked. It wasn't until the late 1850s that the causes of seizures were understood. We know today that these causes involve the brain. Misfired signals from the brain cause a jerking reflex in the body. These usually occur when someone is very tired. Once the causes of seizures were known, definitive treatments were developed. Today, treatments range from taking pills to having surgery. Treatment is personalized according to the type of seizure the patient has. Even today, some people are unsure about seizures. Their most common mistake is thinking that a person having a seizure will swallow their tongue. They often shove some utensil in the person's mouth. However, this doesn't help. The utensil often blocks the airway and prevents the person from inhaling. Yet most of the public no longer fear people who have seizures. Instead, they can now help and comfort a person if they have a seizure. Unit 28. Word list. Allocate. To allocate something means to put it aside for a certain purpose or person.
The government allocated $100 million to aid the disaster relief effort.
Appetizing. When food is appetizing, it looks and smells very good.
The appetizing plate of cookies was gone in half an hour.
Assign. When you assign work, you give that work to particular people.
I was assigned the job of making sure everyone had plenty to drink.
Cavity. A cavity is a hole or space in something.
There was a small cavity in the wall of the cave where an animal lived.
Clockwise.
Clockwise movement follows the direction of a clock's circle.
Turn the screw clockwise to tighten it.
Concentric. When circles or rings are concentric, they have the same center.
The target was a series of concentric circles.
Courtesy. Courtesy is the excellence of manners or social conduct.
Jenna always behaves with great courtesy when people visit her home.
Crisp.
Crisp food is pleasantly hard or has a hard surface.
My favorite snack is a bag of crisp, delicious potato chips.
Discord. Discord is disagreement or fighting.
There was much discord between the experts on the talk show.
Generate. To generate something means to cause it to develop or begin.
The machine can generate electricity from solar power.
Item. An item is a single, separate piece.
There were some items of clothing found at the crime scene.
Interchange.
Interchange means to switch or exchange something with another.
There was an interchange of ideas between the groups.
Multicultural. When something is multicultural, it relates to many different cultures.
Everyone was welcomed to attend the multicultural celebration.
Omission. An omission is something that has been left out or not done.
His omission from the guest list surprised everyone at the party.
Oversee. To oversee something means to make sure that it is being done properly.
His job was to oversee the progress of the construction project.
Pierce. To pierce something means to make a hole in it using a sharp object.
The arrow pierced the target in the very center.
Select. When you select something, you carefully choose it.
They had to select textbooks for each class.
Structure. The structure involves the shape and organization of the parts of a building or group.
There are big differences in family structure in different cultures.
Visual. Visual relates to seeing.
The visual displays were very attractive.
Wavy. When something is wavy, it is not straight, but has a series of curves.
The child drew wavy lines all over the piece of paper.
The Ice House. Last year, Eric constructed one of the world's strangest houses in the icy landscape of northern Sweden. He called it the Ice House, a house made entirely of ice and snow. All of the beds, chairs, tables, and walls are cold, hard sculptures of ice. A group of architects and volunteers from all over the world traveled to the site of the Ice House and began its construction. The multicultural group journeyed through storms and freezing temperatures to reach the site. Once the builders arrived, there was an interchange of ideas, tasks were assigned, and tools were allocated to each worker. An expert was selected to oversee the building process to make sure there was no discord between the workers. Once a plan was generated, the community of volunteers got right to work. The design was very unique. The builders couldn't copy the design of normal houses. The first step was to build the walls and ceiling. The builders used a metal frame to help them build the structure. After the ice was in place, the frame was removed. The builders then created furniture and art pieces. Designs were carved into each item. One worker carved big wavy lines, and another made tiny clockwise concentric circles. Finally, the workers carved small cavities in the roof and inserted colored lights. When the work was finished, the beautiful house was a visual masterpiece and was ready for a resident to enjoy. Living in the ice house is an experience like no other. Eric stores his belongings in an ice cupboard and lays out a sleeping bag on his ice bed. At dinner, he dines on a delicious salad with crisp toppings. And for the main course, he enjoys appetizing fish caught from a nearby river. The fish are pierced with icicles and served on ice plates. After dinner, he gets ready for a cold night. The omission of heaters can be too much for his visitors sometimes. Luckily, there are warm rooms nearby, as a courtesy to people who get too cold.
Unit 29. Word list. Conversion. Conversion is the act of changing something into a different state or form.
The online store offers a conversion tool for different file formats.
Cram.
To cram is to squeeze things into a tight space.
He crammed all of his shirts into the top drawer of the dresser.
Defer. To defer means to arrange for an action to happen at a later time.
The girl was very sleepy, so she chose to defer her bath until morning.
Export. To export products means to sell them to other countries.
The United States exports many cereals and grains.
Fume.
Fumes are harmful smoke and gases from fires or chemicals.
The engine put unpleasant, black fumes into the air.
Habitual.
Habitual behavior is something a person typically does.
He's a habitual smoker. He can't go a day without a cigarette.
Justify. To justify something means to show or prove that it is necessary.
Can you justify the high cost of this product with its quality?
Notwithstanding.
Notwithstanding means despite or in spite of something.
He studied diligently notwithstanding the distractions around him.
Output. Output is the amount of something that a person or thing produces.
The printer's output was a perfectly printed document.
Overpopulation. Overpopulation is the state of having too many people in an area.
The organization is concerned with the overpopulation of the world.
Patent. A patent is a right to be the only person allowed to make or sell a new product.
He quickly established a patent for his brilliant invention.
Penalize. To penalize someone means to punish him or her.
The team was penalized when they broke the rules.
Petroleum. Petroleum is a liquid natural resource from which many fuels are made.
The petroleum at that factory is used to make gasoline.
Region. A region is a large area of land usually based on some common feature.
This is the wheat-growing region of the country.
Scrap. A scrap of something is a small amount of it.
Chris liked to use many scraps of paper when thinking up ideas.
Sector. A sector is a part of a country's economy in a specific type of industry.
The energy sector is transitioning towards renewable sources.
Subscribe. To subscribe to something is to agree with it.
I subscribe to the idea that teamwork leads to success.
Subsist.
Subsist means to survive or maintain oneself at a minimal level.
Some people are forced to subsist on only a few dollars a month.
Suspend. To suspend something means to delay or stop it from happening for a while.
The construction work was suspended due to bad weather conditions.
Synthesis. A synthesis is a combination of different ideas or styles.
The band's music was a synthesis of many different musical genres.
Preparing for future. Overpopulation is a big problem in every region of the world today. Too many people are crammed into cities and towns around the globe. Earth's population is about 6.5 billion people. This number is growing every day. Notwithstanding improvements in birth control, in just 50 years, the population will be almost 9 billion. Many people worry that the Earth won't have enough resources to support so many people. One major reason for this is that wasting resources and polluting have become habitual behaviors. Industrial output results in polluting the air with dangerous fumes. Also, cars and machines waste important natural resources, like oil and water. It's possible that the Earth may become so damaged that it cannot support a large population of humans. Another issue is the lack of useful land for cultivating crops. Even today, many people subsist on mere scraps of food and little water. In 50 years, many experts worry that huge numbers of people will starve to death. So what is being done to prepare for the future? People are realizing they can no longer justify their wasteful behavior or defer action to fix it. Many car companies already have patents for very efficient cars. Such cars waste no resources and produce no pollution. A conversion to clean cars means that petroleum can be saved for the future. In addition, the environmental sectors of many governments are setting strict rules for industries that pollute too much. If companies do not keep to these standards, they are penalized with higher taxes. In some cases, their operations might be suspended altogether. Food is also an issue that is being tackled. Many countries are now subscribing to the point of view that immediate action is needed. They are determining ways to export goods to people in need so that no one goes hungry. Experts will continue to come up with ideas for the future, and a synthesis of these ideas will help to support the growing population. Unit 30. Word list.
Acrobat. An acrobat is a person who entertains people by doing amazing physical things.
The acrobat soared through the air with grace and precision.
Advocacy. Advocacy is the act of supporting or recommending something.
Janine's strong advocacy for the event made people want to attend.
Communal. If something is communal, it involves a group of people.
They organized a communal garden to grow vegetables together.
Fluid. If something is fluid, it is smooth and moves gracefully.
The ballerina's fluid movements were graceful.
Harmonize. To harmonize means to make different things go well together.
The colors in the painting do not harmonize well.
Industrious. If someone is industrious, they work hard.
Dennis was very industrious, so he never had problems finding a job.
Inventive. When someone is inventive, they are good at creating new things.
The inventive student built a robot to help her with her chores.
Mandarin. Mandarin is one of the two main Chinese languages.
I'm taking Mandarin classes to learn the Chinese language.
Metropolitan. If something is metropolitan, it relates to a large city.
The New York metropolitan area includes the city and its suburbs.
Mimic. To mimic something means to copy the way it sounds, moves, looks, etc.
The robot was programmed to mimic human movements.
Misguided. When something is misguided, it is based on bad judgment or wrong beliefs.
The snake bit Molly during her misguided attempt to catch it.
Rehearse. To rehearse means to practice and prepare for a performance in front of people.
Vic's band rehearsed all week before their first show.
Resourceful. A resourceful person is clever at using what resources they have.
She's so resourceful, she always finds a way to solve any issue.
Scorn. To scorn someone means to behave without respect toward them.
The criminal was scorned by everyone in the community.
Sensory. If something is sensory, it is related to the senses.
The sensory overload of the concert left my ears ringing.
Statute. A statute is a law that is official and has been written down.
The new statute made it illegal to walk dogs in the park.
Technical. Technical skill requires good control of technique.
Her technical skill was perfect.
Veteran. A veteran is someone who has a lot of experience doing something.
My grandfather is a veteran who served in the Vietnam War.
Villain. A villain is an evil person who breaks the law or hurts others.
The villain made off with half of my family's valuables.
Vine. A vine is a plant that has long, twisting stems and climbs upward.
The branches of the trees were covered with vines.
100 plays. Over 2,000 years ago, Chinese farmers had a problem. Even though they were very industrious, the weather became too cold outside to plant rice. So, what did they do? Since they had so much free time during the long, cold winters, the inventive farmers were very resourceful and started performing tricks to entertain themselves. They used their farm tools and anything they could find to make their tricks more spectacular and full of energy. They even twisted their bodies into abnormal shapes and performed awesome jumps. Over time, they became great acrobats, and their art form came to be known as 100 plays. 100 plays involves doing many kinds of tricks. For example, in Mandarin-speaking parts of China, performers do the lion dance. They wear costumes and mimic the animal's movements. Early performers also did tricks on ropes and vines that were high above the ground. Even though the acrobats' fluid movements may have looked easy, they took a lot of practice and required great technical skill. Learning 100 plays is a communal event. a veteran of the acrobatic arts, usually teaches younger people in the village. They spend a lot of time rehearsing. The young performers also learn an old philosophy. The teachings help them harmonize the sensory aspects of acrobatics with the mental aspects. In other words, it teaches them to use their physical and mental strength together. Since the art has its origins with poor farmers, rich people used to scorn the acrobats. They thought acrobats were villains who just wanted to trick them. But later, their misguided opinions changed. Acrobats came to be respected in Chinese society. They were invited to perform in metropolitan areas as well as in small villages, and they performed for important people. Arts advocacy groups convinced the government to support Chinese acrobatics. As a result, there is now a statute that made several villages the center of training future acrobats.